those who claimed the government has been weaponized against them. Republicans Susan Collins of Maine, Dan Sullivan of Alaska, and John Husted of Ohio voted for it.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, but ultimately the amendment failed. Nearly $1.8 billion in that fund set up as part of President Trump's IRS lawsuit settlement intended to pay those who claim they were political targets of the Biden Justice Department. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told lawmakers in both parties opposing the fund it will not be set up after all. There's still no deal to end the Iran conflict, but President Trump says as talks continue,
they will never have a nuclear weapon.
So again, the president maintaining that the U.S. will win either militarily or on paper, even as peace talks stall. With no timeline as to when the conflict in the Middle East will end, though, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is taking steps to end the war in his country. He's proposing direct engagement with Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying it would be wrong to wait until Europe returns to the center of attention.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. There's a new push for the U.S. to give Ukraine more help in the war against Russia. The House approved a new security package, $1.5 billion in assistance, $8 billion in loans, and it would extend a program for the Pentagon to send weapons and military equipment. Democrats pushed the bill, got 18 Republicans to support it, but President Trump opposes that Ukrainian could veto the measure. America's listening to...
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea. We were meant to live free. Free to pursue our future and work hard. Free to move. Free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from pain. I tried everything and anything to help me get rid of my pain, and nothing freed me. It just masked the pain, and the side effects diminished my quality of life. I'm sure you have been there if you have real bad pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that is designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. And it is not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor. It was created for people to get back to living their life on their terms. Is that you? Walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter? This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take your stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today. 1995, 3-week quick start. Ready for you right now. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Happy Friday to you. Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. We appreciate you being up early with us. 404-741-1230 at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Whether you're listening at 106.3 FM, 1230 AM on the app or on the YouTube channel. Good morning from Xtra 106.3. Front office Lowe's, how are you, pal?
Welcome to the almost start of the weekend.
Yeah.
You're almost there. Yeah, we're so close.
We're right on top of it.
That's right.
Can we touch it? Yeah, we could. I think we can.
You can at this point. Yeah. It's right there.
Reach out and touch someone. For sure. Wasn't that a phone ad?
Oh, yeah.
In the 70s, reach out. Your family worked in the phone companies, right?
Oh, yeah. My family was part of the, at the time, it was AT&T. Then it got broken up into Southwestern Bell. Then they were back with AT&T.
Yeah. Reach out and touch someone. I was thinking they... initiate contact and bridge distance. No, I'm looking for the stupid campaign. They're trying to. I just did a quick Google search and it's trying to give me all kinds of, weird stuff. But yeah, I guess it was
Bell.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Basically, you had from back in the day, you had one giant phone company. The government broke it up, and when it turned all into the baby bells, they ended up finding a way once again to reunite to be AT&T.
Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah,
where there's a will, there's a way.
They broke apart, then they all came back together in a willing fashion.
That's right, and now are as big as Are they as big as they? Because I don't know the answer to that. Is it as big now with AT&T as it was? It's probably bigger, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, obviously the system has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be that every phone anywhere you went, when it was payphones around the street were all Southwestern Bell or whatever Pacific Bell, all those, and now it's all just AT&T.
Yeah. Just do you, Bryce? Do you remember payphones at all? Was that part of anything you've ever done, a payphone?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen them around. I can't say I've maybe used one once in my life.
Okay, yeah, I figured it had to be very limited.
But yeah, it's very limited.
I used to get off the USS South Carolina go down to the end of the pier, and I think I don't remember what Bell company it was, but I remember that being a thing. But anyway, the payphone was at the end of the pier, and I would call mom and daddy, about once every 3 days, once a week, something like that. Because it's not like cell phones where you just pick up, and call anytime. But I remember, and sometimes there would be a line. You'd have to get, depending on how many people were there, you felt pressure. People were like, come on, man, get off the phone. I need to use it.
I remember that my old man, because he had a beeper, he didn't have a phone during this time period, but he would get beeped by work, and we would have to, pull over in his truck, and he'd have to make a phone call in to see what the problem was. And that was regular, where he knew where all the payphones were.
Dude, how about this? We got our first, this was USS South Carolina, we got our first payphone on the ship that you could use out to sea. It was like the first in the fleet, or one of the first few in the fleet, and it was kind of a test run, to be honest. And it was like $20 a minute to call, but you could in the middle. I mean, you'd be in the middle of the ocean, and you could, something came up, and you could go on the mess decks and actually use the payphone there. Man, it was crazy expensive, and most people didn't do it because they couldn't afford to. But I remember in emergency situations, and when like one dude's baby was born, they bit the bullet and used those phones on the mess decks. But I would imagine that was probably the beginning, because that would have been 96, 97, 98, somewhere around in there. And that was the beginning of calling over the internet, or calling satellite, using satellite phones, or that technology.
I just remember I had a friend of mine that I played ball with growing up, and I remember how amazing it was when his dad got a car phone.
Yeah.
And he actually had it hooked up to a microphone that was to his left of where he was sitting. And so it was like, oh my God, do you know that Mr. Farrell has a phone in his car and he can talk to a microphone?
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
This is the most incredible technology ever.
What year was that, and how big was the phone?
I'm guessing this had to be early to mid 90s. I just remember he had what the joke would be the Miami Vice phone.
Yeah.
Where it's like you look like it was a giant brick.
Yeah. He
had that, but it was set up on a cradle that then hooked it up to a microphone so he could conduct calls in the car.
Yeah, dude. I remember the very first cell phone I remember seeing was probably, I mean, like cell phone where it was like a smaller, not the big brick or whatever. And that was 99 or 2000 or somewhere, and I remember thinking, good Lord, and there's no telling how much that thing cost.
I got my first one in 98 before I went to college.
Oh, wow.
That's when my parents were like, well, we're getting him a cell phone, because their plan was, well, it'll be cheaper to just call him on this.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to get a hold of him rather than trying to get a phone line, or, trying to contact me in a dorm phone system.
Yeah.
It was just not going to work. But I remember just how crazy it was when people were like, "Oh, you have a cell phone?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a cell phone." But I'd always say the same thing. My parents worked for the phone company.
Yeah, it's a little easier.
Yeah, a little easier. We got a lot of deals.
I don't think I got my first cell phone until 2000. It may have been 2001, but somewhere in there. You know what? It had to be 2001, because Laura and I were already a couple getting serious, and we're already married, so that was 2001, and we got our first cell phones together. And dude, I just remember thinking, this is I can't imagine using it this much, but turns out I was way wrong.
All right, this is how old we're getting, Tug, and how young sweet Bryce is, kissed by the sweet bird of youth. So I had a Motorola Razr.
Dude, Motorola was the coolest.
When that thing came out, keep in mind that phone is now older than Bryce.
Gosh, man.
That phone came out in like 04, and I remember I got it as like
whoa. I was born in 02.
I got it as like a Christmas gift. And it was the coolest thing because you could take pictures on it. Now they were awful looking.
Yeah. Motorola. I had Nokia. My first one was a Nokia.
My uncle, I think, still has a Nokia.
Well, I think they come back around.
It's like it's a smartphone Nokia, but that thing is a brick.
So it's an old one?
No, I mean it's like it has a screen, but it It literally looks like a brick.
Yeah, this was tiny. I'm sure you remember. They were like tinier than remote controls, the Nokia, and it was the joke because it was too small for your hands. You had to hold it with like 3 fingers. It was so small. And finally, they've settled in to where it's it's kind of a brick, but not as thick as it used to be.
The Motorola Razr was released in April of 2004.
Okay.
Its super slim phone sold over 130 million units.
Goodness gracious.
And
I remember the Razr. I do remember that. It was the coolest. It was, and you remember when phones used to really make a splash when they would come out with a new one?
Dude, when we had ringtones?
Yes, all of that. With ringback tones. When you would listen to a song as instead of getting the ringing sound, you would actually hear a song until somebody picked up. I was like, yes, I love this idea. And but yeah, ringtones, ringback tones, there was all good. They would sell you anything and everything. It was amazing. Lord, it was a good time to be alive, wasn't it?
Wasn't that Nokia you were talking about? Wasn't that the unbreakable one?
No, I think I broke mine. They may have had one.
I knew you could break Motorola Razrs because I would see people do it.
Yeah. I know. My Nokia was. It was pretty durable. But yeah, I think I broke a couple of those. They may have came out with one later that was that was their marketing angle, is that it was unbreakable. But wow,
did either of y'all ever go through the BlackBerry phase?
Dude, my wife would go to a BlackBerry today if they were available. She loved them. She likes physical buttons. She liked the whole thing. And BlackBerry, man, those things were that was groundbreaking. Those were groundbreaking to begin with. And then Los, you probably remember how many people, as BlackBerries were being phased out, wouldn't give them up.
Yeah, they would hold on to them.
My wife was one of them.
You basically had the Apple iPhones had so much more capability than the BlackBerries as they got into the next several versions. But if you had a BlackBerry and you were dedicated to it, it was almost like you were treating it like it was like your home office.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to give up my office.
No.
I don't give up this phone.
That's exactly right. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. Braves lose last night. I stayed up, watched, and then the wheels really came off the bus at the end of the game. It was really tight. It was 4-3.
Sure did.
4-3 up until like the 9th, I think, and then they just scored a whole bunch of extra. I guess they scored 3 runs in the 9th, and
Dubon homered late in the 8th to make it a game, and then at that point it just blew up on him.
Yeah, it did not. Yeah, things didn't go as well as we had hoped. But you've got a big game tonight. And this is the get back in it game, right?
This is the series.
Yeah. This is the we're gonna kick their tail end. You have to feel good about tonight, right? With the Spurs next.
I felt great about game 1. So but you got to get it to make it 1-1, and then you head to New York and you play things out on Monday. It's the same way that the Carolina Hurricanes have to be feeling. You get a win in overtime. You even up the Stanley Cup Finals at 1. All right, now it's a series. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Same concept tonight.
My thing is the Hawks won. Did they win 2 games in New York?
They won 2.
Yeah.
They won 2 of the first 3, and that was then the start of the New York run where they haven't lost since.
Yeah. So, dude, if the Hawks can win in New York, yeah.
Oh, I'm not worried about. I'm worried about getting tonight. If I get tonight, in my mind, I won't lose another game the rest of the series.
Let's go. That's what I'm.
But that's because I'm a nut.
That's because I'm crazy. I'm crazy like a squirrel. It's just wide open. Stanley Cup.
Did you watch any of it?
No. What? No.
You said you were going to tune in.
I totally forgot. I was watching the Braves game, man.
It was a great game. It was 2-0 Vegas, then 2-2 Carolina. Carolina takes a 3-2 lead. Vegas gets off of a penalty or power play, and like 5 seconds after they get off the power play, they tie it up, go to overtime, and then Carolina wins it.
So much fun. I know there is a different feeling about the playoffs and the finals. So
it has the makings of an all-time great series.
There you go. What's up, Los?
Can we revisit something momentarily?
Sure, man.
So there's actually a time when somebody gets a 2-minute minor and they would make Bryce go serve it.
That's what he said. No.
It was a 2 and 10. They would get the 10-minute misconduct, and I would serve the 2-minute minor.
So you would have to serve the punishment for somebody else.
Oh, and I gladly did it.
I didn't even know that was available.
Yeah.
Like, you could say, "Hey, this guy's too good. We don't want to have him, even though he committed the penalty."
Well, so no, it's just so you can get another guy back on the ice. So it's just a power play it'd be 5-on-4, and then you have somebody serve it because he has to stay in the. Whoever gets the 2 and 10 has to serve the whole 12 minutes, but the other person has to come back on so you can even it back on 5-on-5. And I don't know if we were allowed to do this, but I'd come off the bench. I mean, it didn't matter where I was on the ice.
Yeah.
I was going to that penalty.
Yes. I love it.
That's the part I keep wanting to think about.
I know, right? Can you imagine? It's like me when Coach Tony called me on the 1MC on the overhead down to get cut from the basketball team. They did it with just the big horn, and they'd sound that, and Bryce knew it was time to come off the.
The coaches stopped looking at me. Like everybody at first, they would be like, all right, Bryce, you go. And eventually it was just, I'm hopping over.
Yeah, you didn't even. They didn't ask.
They knew where I was going.
Anything. I love it. That's so glorious. Come on, what a great thing to have happen to you.
I will say that same season, it happened, I think, across a couple seasons. There was one season while I was serving the penalties, I did not register a penalty minute all year.
So you didn't earn any, but you served all of them.
Exactly.
Yep. Dude, I love it. That's great. Call. Sometimes being a loser is awesome.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Bryce. You took that shot. I saw it coming.
It's okay.
I was too, dude. I got cut from 10th grade and the whole school knew about it. They wouldn't let me off the bench to pick up a foul ball. I mean, now I have fond memories of it. It's kind of funny, You just laugh about it but it gives you character, they say.
It does. I also scored a goal off my butt, so.
Okay, well, quickly go through. How do you?
No, it was just shot from the point, from the blue line, and deflected off my butt.
It hit your butt and scored, huh?
Boom! Well, let's go.
That's quite the deflection.
That is. That's exactly right, man. I mean, it could be worse. It could have hit you in the butt and not scored. I mean, at least there's something that good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure 7 goals that year.
I'm sure none of your teammates talk about that anymore. Like the butt fumble doesn't live on.
Dude, yeah, right. Or a home run off the top of your head, which happened again. The other night.
Joe Adele, it was the same dude. It was Joe Adele again.
Okay. Good heavens. Dude, that's the worst. Just a home run off your head.
I don't know if there'll be a more famous one than Jose Canseco.
No, definitely not.
That one is always going to be the one where it's like, oh my God, did it really hit him in the head and go out to the ballpark?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And he was, that was steroid too, Canseco, wasn't it?
Oh, sure, yeah. He was at the Rangers at that point.
He didn't even feel it.
Just hit him on the top of the head and went out of the ballpark.
right in the melon. Totally doesn't even matter.
Los, real quick, I saw this a couple days ago, and I never got a chance to ask you. How does Wander Franco not get jail time?
Yeah. That's one of those. That's one of those crazy stories. It's like a lot of these guys. You have to do something wildly atrocious. Like, for instance, the former Alabama receiver who he's going to serve 4 years total, where he was driving, he hit a woman, her car exploded, and she died in a fiery crash. Okay, he got 4 years. Think about what you had happen with James Pierce Jr. here in Atlanta, or in Florida, but here of Atlanta, where he actually ran his car into his girlfriend's car, then fought with police, and he's not going to see any jail time.
It's weird. It almost feels like the judicial system, the justice system, is not blind anymore, right? I mean, it depends on who you are. Depends on
who you are.
Yeah.
It's what we all saw. You have access to a different level.
Yeah.
Than other people.
Yeah, that's right. You're
and with Frank, and with Wander, again, it's a case in the Dominican, but there's no jail time, even though he's been found to have sexually abused a minor.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I got the story pulled up in front of me. Everything just came down on May 25th. But I just don't... it feels like Banana Republic. We feel like... Or the legal system almost is starting to feel like a third world country where it's, whoever's got the ear of the court or the favor of the political class or whoever's in power.
Well, and again, this is, let's just make sure we hit this right. This was all in the Dominican.
No, I know.
So it's not like our legal system, but then again, our legal system is just as bought and paid for.
Right. I think that's what I'm trying to get to, is that all of it, I know that's there, but it feels like it's happening here too, right? I mean, Trump was 34 charges and all of them were bogus, right? And they all fell apart. And the people that, those activist judges that will say, oh, you know what, I know it's murder, I know it's rape, but they'll turn out the illegal in, a day. They don't want to see a minute of jail time, and then they're out doing it again. It's whoever's favored at the time, and that's definitely not good for our legal system, man.
It's just, again, it's what level of law do you get access to?
Yep.
And when if there's any gray area and you have money, you're going to be fine.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it crazy to think that's all it is?
That's the standard.
Whoever's got the money to buy their way out of it can. That is not good for our country. It's not good for the future, but unfortunately, it feels like what we have now. And not even feels like. We're seeing it on display. It is.
It is what
we have now. It is what we have now. It's broken. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, candidate for Lieutenant Governor JFK, John F. Kennedy, joins the Morning Extra.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hello, summer, and hello, Braves baseball. Mark your calendars for summer plans as the Giants come to Truist Park, June 16th through the 18th. Get your hands on back-to-back giveaways with the Ronald Acuna Jr. bobblehead presented by Delta Airlines on June 16th, and the Braves soccer jersey presented by SeatGeek on the 17th. And there's 2 brand new ticket packages featuring SpongeBob and Toy Story. Both ticket packages include a game ticket and either a Braves SpongeBob jersey shirt or a Braves Toy Story t-shirt. Then the Brewers roll into town June 19th through the 21st. The weekend series is packed with everyone's favorites like Friday Night Fireworks presented by Georgia Lottery, Saturday's pregame block party, and a kids LED light giveaway for the first 3,000 kids on Sunday the 21st. Check out all of the fun and purchase your tickets at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
What a season. The boys are giving us plenty to celebrate, but if you've celebrated a little too hard after a win and ended up in jail, you need A Second Chance bail bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
In a world where your yard has no boundaries, where the neighbor's kids cut through it like a public park, one company has dared to draw the line, literally. Accent Fence.
Hi, this is Jared with Accent Fence. Setting boundaries is a good thing. So do it with a wood, vinyl, composite, aluminum, steel, or chain link fence. And right now, we're making it more affordable with no money down financing. Get your free quote today at 770-995-7463 or book online at accentfence.net.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years.
I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Friday, June 5th, and here are your headlines. Senate Republicans have advanced President Trump's roughly $70 billion immigration enforcement package after a marathon voting session, sending the measure to the House. The debate exposed divisions within the GOP over a new shelved $2 billion Justice Department fund and other provisions, but party leaders ultimately unified behind the border security plan. Recent rounds of heavy rain have improved drought conditions across much of North Georgia, according to the National Weather Service. Officials say parts of the region have improved from extreme to severe drought, but they warn conditions could quickly worsen again without consistent rainfall throughout the summer. And finally, the Fulton County Board of Assessors has approved new property tax rates and a new appraisal method for data centers that could add roughly $46 million in revenue. Property owners will begin receiving assessment notices June 16th and will have the opportunity to appeal their valuations. Today's weather is a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 86 and a low of 62. No rain is expected over the weekend with a sunny Saturday high of 88 and a Sunday high of 86 with some clouds. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10. His website, jfkforgeorgia.com. John Kennedy, running for Lieutenant Governor, joins the Morning Extra. How you been?
Good morning. Listen, doing great. Glad to be with you guys and get to talk to your visitors and listeners, rather, about our campaign and what we've been doing to be the next Lieutenant Governor.
Yes, sir. You started out by saying this is the type of race, which you've run, obviously, political races before, that this one more than anything else is about getting out and physically shaking hands and meeting the people where they are.
I really think it is, and I think that's one of the reasons that our campaign is working, not to boast at all. We're humbled and grateful for the results that we had in the primary. It was a 7-way race, as you guys know. We came in first place, but I think a lot of that is we have gone to the four corners of the state and all the borders and everywhere in between, talking to folks about what their concerns are. What do they expect from their government? What do they expect? How can we get state government working better? And as you guys know, I served 11 years in the Senate and had some successes there and want to move on to this position to better serve. But it's folks want to look people in the eye, and this old school, and I think this is one of those races that calls for that.
Has there been a variety, depending on where you've been in the state? Because I think it's pretty general. A lot of people talk about wanting their state governments to run efficiently, to take care of with their tax money and where that is going. Has it been any different when you travel, north, south, where part of the state, where the concerns of the citizens of Georgia have been different, or they have mostly been alike?
Great question, and it's really some of both. I think there's some universal concerns. What I hear a lot about on the campaign trail is property taxes. Folks need property tax relief. And I think the folks in Georgia are looking for some structural changes in our property tax system. That's probably one of the most prevalent things I hear about, and something I'm real interested in. But depending upon where you go, for example, rural Georgia, where I'm from, the little town of Adrian, Georgia, which is about halfway between Macon and Savannah. It's a town of 800 people. You get out in the rural areas, largely, farming communities, they've got some different concerns. And one is they want the benefits and trying to do all they can to attract business and industry to their areas, and the rural areas don't have the kind of infrastructure that can naturally attract sometimes. And so a lot of it is about economic development, right? Of hey, can you help us get jobs, help us to land some of these businesses that our Georgia Economic Development Department, quite frankly, has done a good job, and I think Brian Kemp has done a great job leading that effort and bringing business and industry into this state. So depending upon where you go in rural areas, talk about that. And something else, especially in South Georgia, there's certain sectors of our ag economy that have been hit really bad, and that's our tree farmers. Between the combination of hurricanes coming through, between three large mill closures, and that market in general, in some regards, collapsing, you're talking about some communities that are facing generational losses if we don't figure out ways to help them struggle through this.
John Kennedy is our guest. He's running for lieutenant governor here on the Morning Xtra on Extra 106.3, asking for your vote. I do want to get to property taxes, but as you talked about economic development, and there's the places that are shutting down, mills shutting down, people losing opportunity, not enough, probably Wi-Fi, not enough internet, the infrastructure not being there. Does it ever come up the opposite way? Like, I'm afraid our small rural community is going to turn into something that we don't want it to be. It grows too fast, or it becomes a place that gets crowded and then it loses its rural roots. Does that ever come up? Because that's something that stands out to me as a guy that lives in Alpharetta, and I'm like, oh, please stop building.
Yeah.
Please, whatever you do, please stop building.
Yeah. It does, but you know where it comes up? It comes up in the areas around the metro area where you've got those areas that were traditionally at least had a smaller town feel, and the growth from Metro Atlanta is encapsulating them now in ways that some people aren't real happy about, and I do hear about that as well. And that's why, that's why it's important that those areas, wherever they are, that you elect the right leaders to make those decisions. I personally think that most decisions are best made if made at the local level, right? Because the people that are affected and are by decisions or indecision, they get to choose those local leaders, typically your county commissioners, your planning and zoning boards, your city council, your mayors. Those are the ones that drive, in many ways, more of the day-to-day decisions that impact what you're talking about. But you get out to the more rural areas outside the state, there's not too much, not too much discussion. It's like, hey, please, we need something. Because we want an environment where our children, not only that they will hope they want to, but we want them to be able to come back here. And if we don't have the jobs and growth on some level, the family may not get to continue in this area.
John F. Kennedy is our guest running for lieutenant governor right here in the state of Georgia on the Morning Xtra. Let's talk about those property taxes, because I'm somebody who's a resident of Cumming. My property taxes have exploded over the probably last 6 or 7 years. And while I love the idea of changing some of the property taxes or reducing them or anything to that effect, I also recognize that rural Georgia, you don't have a Walmart. So you need property taxes for the schools. Tell me about that balance that you were talking about on the campaign trail of changing some of the property taxes, but at the same time knowing that rural Georgia does need those as well.
Yeah, and so I think it begins with a point where the pain point is for all of us across Georgia is, we're living now with the continued inflationary pressures that Joe Biden put on us for 4 years of his economic policy. So that you start with that. And then when you roll forward and you look at, well, what does that number look like? How much inflation pressure we've had generally compared to how fast property taxes have increased. And the property taxes have increased much higher. I think the stats that I've seen, it's something like 47% over the last 7 or 8 years, where the general inflationary rate is something like in the 20s. So something's a little bit out of balance. Now, some of that may be property values themselves increasing, and all that comes together for that. So I think you kind of begin with that point of they seem to be out of kilter, if you will.
Out of whack.
Out of whack. Thank you. That's a word I was looking for.
That's what the country folks say.
Yeah. That's what we say down in Adrian, I tell you.
Yes, sir, it is.
But out of whack. And so then the second thing we've got to remember is whatever that structural change looks like, property taxes go to who? They go to the counties, right? And so that's how your counties are run. That's how county services are provided. So we're talking about trying to get solutions and find solutions at the state level, but it's not entirely our decision. And that's why this is a little more complex of an issue than most might think. It's just, well, wait a minute, can't you guys just make a decision to change things? And that's part of it. And then thirdly, to the point you were making, there's some areas where that property tax base is very limited because of not much economic activity going on. And that's a double-edged sword, right? That's your only source for these counties. But in other times, wow, that means the property owners are shouldering the entire cost of the operations of the county itself in some ways. So, yeah, it's multi-layered. I'm going to work on this in 2027. There were some efforts made this past year in 2026. Didn't get it across the finish line. but it's something I'm intent on working with the House and working collaboratively down at the Capitol to find right solutions. And collaboratively means also working with the counties too, and making sure that they're made whole as best we can, because they've got to operate, they've got to provide their services.
Yeah, John Kennedy is our guest. He's running for Lieutenant Governor here on the Morning Extra. You can find him, jfk4georgia.com. jfk4georgia.com is his website. Let's dig a little bit, because this seems to be the biggest issue of all of them. Every office, people running for office in Georgia, everybody that comes in and sits in that seat that you've been in has brought up property taxes. How, as Lieutenant Governor, do you plan to do, because you talked about some of the things you didn't get across, but how do you fix that? How, from the Lieutenant Governor's office, how do you work with those local municipalities? How do you get those property taxes down? And then what do you say to, like, people that are older, that don't have kids in school, and maybe their kids are in their 40s and 50s, and they're like, I'm tired of paying these higher taxes. I'm done with this.
And you're trending toward one of the best examples of why we've got to get some structural change. There are older couples, especially, that have worked hard for their whole adult life. They finally got a 30-year mortgage paid off, right? And they are now worried about not being able to live out their golden years. They're on a fixed income. They're worried about staying in their home that they worked so hard, that is the family home. They fear they can't keep it just because of escalating property taxes. That tells you something's got to be done. Back to your question of how can the Lieutenant Governor's office, how can I do something? I tell you, I think the House idea that they did not get passed, and because the Democrats would not vote for it, their proposal required a constitutional amendment, which is a 2/3 vote in the House, and the Democrats absolutely shut down on it. But it was, in essence, your homestead plus 5 acres would be not subject to property taxes. And there was, as I understand it, and this was the House's idea, so I can quickly outrun the details of that and their policy drivers behind why they were wanting to do what they were going to do. But it was replaced by a state sales tax. And so that's one option, I think, that deserves a lot of talk and a lot of merit. I think it makes sense when you're looking at homesteads to do it in the way they did, your home where you live and then a certain amount of acreage around it. There's other ideas as well, but I think what I can bring to the table, guys, next year as a Lieutenant Governor, I've got a reputation for reaching across the aisle, for working with everybody in the chamber, for working with the guys in the House. I've got excellent relationships with House leadership and Senate leadership. And, I was privileged to get elected twice. I stood for election to be the president pro tem of the Senate, which is the highest Senate office in Georgia, but it's also the one office that's elected by all 56 senators. I stood for election twice and was elected unanimously. That doesn't happen unless you've got a reputation of the people in that chamber know that they trust you from a standpoint of you're going to be willing to work with them, you're going to be collaborative, and quite frankly, my leadership style is I typically listen first and then I talk last. We're not going to agree with everybody all the time, certainly not the Democrats or liberal-minded folks on where the right landing spot is on this, whatever the issue is. But at the end of the day, folks are going to feel like they've at least been heard, they've been considered, and then we're going to do what's best for Georgia by working together.
John F. Kennedy is our guest running for Lieutenant Governor right here in the state of Georgia. I wanted to follow up with your experience in the state Senate, because I think because of the amount of money that has been involved in this election, what has gone on in the state of Georgia, in our opinion, from just being on this radio show, everything's been turned into, okay, who's the most conservative, and then who are the insiders and the outsiders? And you talk about the importance of meeting people. I think that that's really the goal, in that it's not a matter of, hey, I'm a politician or I'm not a politician. It's, no, just get to know me and then make a decision from there.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And as we were talking right before we went on, there's kind of an old school folks get to know you, and it's one of those things where the folks that you live, work, pray, and play with know you best, and from that you get a determination of who you want to trust and who you want to be in leadership, to whether it's a state or whether it's locally at your county. And again, I think that's where I've been blessed to have been entrusted in some positions with that. I think because of not only being able to work with other people, but effectively getting conservative legislation passed, which is what I've done. I mean, last year, guys, the biggest battle down at the Capitol was getting meaningful tort reform passed, which was Brian Kemp's #1 legislative priority for last year of 2025. Well, he asked me to carry those bills, and so I and his executive council worked hard to draft those bills. It was Senate Bill 68 and 69. And for folks that don't know what tort reform is, it's dealing with the issue of abusive lawsuits and our civil justice system being so out of whack that people are afraid if you're a defendant, you're not going to be treated fairly. And it has been the product of why our insurance premiums are going up and have gone up for a number of years. And it's why businesses have left the state. It's why insurance companies have left the state. It's why generationally owned businesses are afraid that they're just one lawsuit away from everything their families work for. And folks are tired of paying excessively high insurance premiums. Well, guess what? We worked hard, and listen, the guys, the billboard lawyers, the guys that are up and down the interstate that are begging you to let them sue somebody for you, and they do their work. But the problem we've got is with things being out of balance, insurance companies having to pay excessive rates. Well, who do you think ultimately pays that? Me and you do, right? And the premiums that you and I pay and that all the people that are listening to us pay. So that was the objective. We got meaningful legislation passed. And guess what? Although one of the things that the guys were asking me that were against this, the trial lawyers and billboard lawyers and those folks, they said, well, you can't guarantee that this is going to have any effect. And you're just trying to help the insurance companies. No, I'm trying to help people that are paying premiums, right? And guess what? About 6 weeks ago, State Farm announced a 10% across the board reduction in all automobile insurance rates in the state of Georgia. And why? They said because of tort reform. And I can give you guys more and more examples. So when I talk about wanting to keep Georgia growing and keep a good pro-business environment in this state, I'm willing to roll up my sleeves, get in the ditch, and fight about it to make sure that we're doing what's good for Georgia, that we're going to lower insurance premiums. We're going to keep a good pro-business environment in this state where businesses want to come and stay here. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling on.
No, please. Like I said, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
Yeah. Absolutely, so people can hear it and people want it because they've got to make their decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, as I say, that's a good example of where real leadership, willing to fight about something that's important, being entrusted by the governor of the state to carry what was his most important legislative priority for 2025. And most businesses will tell you was the greatest threat to them continuing to be able to be in business in Georgia and provide the jobs for the people of Georgia that we want. And that's number one. Number two, guys, is I want to keep Georgia learning. And that just means that we make sure that we support our public school systems. I'm a product of a small town public school system. My little school had 550 kids now. That's K through 12, guys. So we had 30.
Thriving metropolis.
I'm telling you, man. And so, I got to tell you, I think the tomorrow that high school graduates are facing is a lot more complicated than my tomorrow was way back when I graduated from high school. We got to make sure they're prepared, that they're ready for that tomorrow. And that means we got to continue supporting our public school systems. Now, on that point is something I'm passionate about that came on my radar screen is a hidden crisis in our public school system, and it's chronic absenteeism. That is defined by kids missing more than 10% of their school days, which in Georgia is 18 days a year. Guys, we've got a serious problem with chronic absenteeism. I learned about this by reading a newspaper article in another state talking about chronic absenteeism was critical. I came back here and asked the staff of the Capitol, I said, do we have a problem in Georgia? They said, well, let's look at it. Well, they did. They said, sir, we got a big problem. I said, why is nobody talking about this? I'm not an educator. I'm just a lawyer. I've never been a principal, never been a teacher. But I know that if they're not in the seat, I can tell you what their future is, right? And these are our Georgia kids that we want to be educated to have the Georgia dream and the American dream. So long story short, I sent my guys off to seminars. We educated ourselves on chronic absenteeism, passed a bill, Senate Bill 123, came out of the Senate unanimously. I think it was 179-1 out of the House. The governor signed the bill, and it's working to seek to address this issue. And it's another example, guys, of when I go down to the Capitol and when I'm doing what I do at home or wherever, when I see things that we can improve in Georgia, don't just expect somebody else to do it because it's not in my area or it's not in my area of expertise. we need folks with that kind of servant approach and servant's heart. And so, I'm sorry, that's just an example.
No, yes.
And then one other thing, if I could, guys,
Sure,
tell
of
you, and
course.
that is that, the third, we got to keep Georgia safe.
Amen to that.
We've got to keep Georgia safe, and that means supporting our law enforcement. We've got great sheriffs all over the state and great law enforcement. But guys, y'all will remember it wasn't that long ago we had people elected in the city of Atlanta that were calling on defunding the police.
I recall well.
So don't think my pitch is, I remind people, don't think the crazy California talk about defunding the police can't come to Georgia.
Or don't think it went away.
Yeah,
exactly.
because it's not gone.
They've just put it in the back burner, but it's still here.
Exactly. And so we've got to make sure that our law enforcement who go into the breaches of the most difficult times when we want our family protected, they've got to know we've got their back. And as the next lieutenant governor, there won't be any question with regard to that. And I'll make sure they're properly resourced and funded because they do run into the most difficult circumstances on our behalf. And at the end of the day, law and order is just part of the social fabric of having a good community and a successful state. We got to have it.
Yes, no doubt about it. Quickly, last thought, as I know we're up on time, but you hear about, because you talked about schools, college versus trade, and then you talk about business. We're in a place where I feel like we've given away tax breaks to big, huge businesses, and the small businesses suffer. How do you balance all of that? Data centers. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but all of those things are things that people are genuinely concerned about and call our show and ask about.
Yeah, I think it's first of all, for me, I'm a bit of a challenge junkie. I like problem solving. I see a problem, I want to fix it. And you're right, we've got a lot of challenges in Georgia, but at the same time, let me say this. Our future is so incredibly bright in this state. We've got the best people. It continues to be the place where businesses want to come and relocate. But key to making sure that we've got a good, progressive, successful path for progress, rather, going forward, is the kids have got to be educated for that tomorrow. And you're right. We finally learned and woken up several years ago that we ought not to have the structure so that expecting every kid needs to or has to go to college, because a lot of kids don't want to go. They want to go into the trades and what used to be called the trade schools, the vocationals. And so we have devoted resources, especially over the last decade, to get kids to have those options available to them. You know what? That's good for them because not all want to go elsewhere, but it's also keeping up with the market of what we need to have prepared, a ready, willing, prepared, able workforce in this state.
No doubt about it. John F. Kennedy is running for lieutenant governor. He's asking for your vote. You can learn more about him at jfkforgeorgia.com, jfkforgeorgia.com. We wish you nothing but success. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk to our listeners.
You guys are great. Thanks. I love the show, and I promise you I'll come back not only while I'm campaigning, if you'll have me, but after I'm elected, hopefully. I promise you I'll come back and visit with you then. Thanks.
You're always welcome. Yes, sir. Tug and Los till 10 on Extra 106.3. When we come back, Democrats just can't be normal, and normal people just can't relate. 6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, June 5th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the final game of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays last night, 7-2. The final tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates are in town to open up a 3-game series. It'll be Martin Perez on the mound. He'll be opposed by Mitch Keller. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Stanley Cup Finals are now tied at 1 as the Carolina Hurricanes got a 4-3 overtime victory last night over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Game 3 from Vegas will be on Saturday night. And as far as the NBA Finals, the New York Knicks lead that 1-0 as they are on the road once again taking on the San Antonio Spurs tonight from San Antonio. That tip-off is set for 8:30 with your sports headlines. I'm Carlos Medina.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and we got a surprise call in from a customer of ours, Travis, out in Jefferson, Georgia. Travis, good to hear from you, buddy. You want to tell a little bit about the experience you had with me at the honest car guy?
The whole experience, honestly, was one of the smoothest car experiences that we've ever gone through, meaning that there's no pressure, there's no runaround. It's just straight up honest service. The price that you guys present or find for you, that's what you are going to pay. And you just get a great deal. I've been educated to a newer process of the car dealership game. You guys have not come in and you're setting the benchmark for how car dealing and car buying and car selling really should be.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Special Olympics Georgia is teaming up with Dunkin' Donuts for Cops at Donut Shops on Friday, June 5th from 6 to 10 a.m. Join us for the torch run and then some treats with our heroes on the streets. We'll help raise money and awareness for Special Olympics Georgia athletes. Donate at participating Dunkin' Donuts June 5th or at specialolympicsga.org.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetc.com, cpapsetc.com, with a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
Summer is here, and it's time to enjoy your outdoor oasis as a family. Don't know where to begin? At Stovall & Company, we have everything you need to make your landscaping dreams come true. From premium mulch and topsoil to a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, and annuals, Stovall has it all. Check us out at stovallinc.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Larry Older here. You know, I think a lot of people just accept pain like this is just how it is now. I don't think that has to be true. Let me tell you about George. He's up in Oregon, works 10-hour days, driving a garbage truck, in and out all day. It really did a number on his knee. He said it got so bad, he couldn't even bend it. Now think about that. Trying to work, take care of your family, and your body just isn't cooperating. Well, George tried Relief Factor, and this is what got me. He said, I can bend my knee again with very little pain. Simple, but when you get something like that back, it matters. My brother Kirk had difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning until he followed my advice. After about a week, he calls and says, this stuff is working. If you're dealing with aches and pains, see if Relief Factor works for you. It's drug-free with a 3-week quick start for just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com, that's ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. You don't have to just accept living with pain.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for political outsiders, especially somebody that could sell funds.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
So let's enjoy the liberal meltdown for a day or two. Might even watch The View. But can we all get together and try to put this country on a better path?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug and Los until 10.
The communists with truth every day on the only...
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. A little train wreck there. All right. It's Friday. You can't ever tell. Sometimes the wheels come off.
It's still the greatest form of advertising.
No.
Word of mouth.
Oh,
if
Lord.
we could bottle it and sell it.
It is real bad. It got worse than I thought.
All right, so that is unusual. So is some of the language that the Democrat Party loves to use, Los. Remember when they said, hey, don't use these crazy words, people can't relate to it? It's like drugs. They can't get off of these crazy words.
Let's get into it. Fox News had the story about what's happening with New York and their formal documentation. When I say, hey, just be normal, or at least try to be normal, or pretend to be normal, this isn't normal.
New York Democrats argue the words mother and father are outdated and need to be replaced with more inclusive terms under state law. All that's needed now is Governor Kathy Hochul's signature. So if Hochul approves, in New York's family court and in domestic and education law, a mother would be labeled as a gestating parent, a father as a non-gestating parent, and paternity proceedings to determine the child's father would be called parentage proceedings. The bill passed the state Senate this week and the state assembly back in March. Governor Hochul proudly calls herself New York's first mom governor. It's unclear if she'll support this change, though.
I'm not familiar with what was introduced late last night, so I'll take a look at it. I have until the end of the year to review them and make a decision, so I won't be commenting on pending legislation.
New York would join other states like Massachusetts, California, Connecticut, and Colorado to change the definition and wording of parents in their state laws. Democrats argue the bill is necessary to accommodate surrogacy cases and same-sex couples. Now, Governor Hochul's up for re-election this year. Her main challenger, Republican Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, tells Fox this morning this bill is a continuation of war declared on families by Democrats.
All right, so no more mother and father. Gestating parent, non-gestating.
Yes. Try not to be weird. Okay, how about this? You know? And here's the other thing, Los. How did we not know that California and Massachusetts and all those other states are already doing this?
It's just one of those stories as I was listening to it going, so you're going to change the wording of your documentation and how you address things in court for what I'm guessing is 0.25% of cases?
Well, we have to. It's, because we're so progressive. No, it's because you're freaking weird. That's just all there is to it, man. They cannot not be weird.
It's the theater kids, man. Dude, this is what happens when they get power. They're like, what do we do? Well, let's do some theater kid crap.
That's exactly right. Good Lord. When we come back, it is so bad that we're pulling for Rhino Susan Collins. That's what we're having to pull for. Oh, my God. Next on Extra.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Summer is here, and hopefully vacation is on the horizon. Whether the beach or maybe you're more of a mountain person, you've planned and saved in order to take some much-needed time off. You planned your vacation. Shouldn't you plan your retirement? You planned for a week in the sun, but have you planned for decades of golden years? Master Plan Retirement works with you to create a holistic, comprehensive retirement plan in order to offer the one thing your time off needs the most: peace of mind. From income and growth, tax strategy, legacy planning, and more, Master Plan Retirement walks alongside you to help ensure your golden years stay golden. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Visit masterplanretire.com. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find local voices, familiar faces, and community businesses like Whole Body Systems. And I've actually had many of you ask me about it, so I became a client.
Hi there, I'm Kim, Studio Director of Whole Body Systems in Smyrna. We are thrilled to partner with Tara and give you the inside look at how we help you age powerfully. We understand you don't need another crash diet. You need strength that lasts. We specialize in women and men who feel intimidated or overlooked by traditional gyms. Strength training is especially critical in women during perimenopause and beyond. Things that used to work just aren't anymore. Doesn't mean your body's broken. You just need a new strategy. Everyone is welcome. The process is personalized for everyone.
Friends, I invite all of you to follow my journey in Our Town. Better yet, you should book a free consultation. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, Extra 106.3 FM.
They burned the midnight oil and then some. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Senators were up all night working on a contentious funding bill, and just before 5 o'clock this morning, a 52-47 final vote.
This bill, as amended, is passed.
It's Republicans cheering because no Democrats supported this legislation, providing nearly $70 billion for Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement through 2029. They call ICE out of control and want reforms, but the bill passed using a reconciliation process they could not block. Some amendments to the bill failed, including an attempt for Congress to block a nearly $1.8 billion fund the Trump administration set up to pay those who claim they were politically targeted by the Biden Justice Department. But the acting attorney general, after pushback from Republicans and Democrats, now says that fund will not be set up. The Senate bill also does not include $1 billion in security for the controversial White House ballroom. President Trump says is privately funded and posted late last night on Truth Social is vital for national security, but there's a court hearing today challenging him.
A lower court judge had ordered that construction on the new ballroom stop. Judge Richard Leon agreed with the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which had sued, saying the changes require congressional approval. But a 3-judge appellate panel allowed construction to move forward through at least early June when they hear arguments. The deputy director of the Secret Service has filed documents explaining that stopping this project could put lives in danger.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Still no deal to the U.S. conflict, and with Iran ending, President Trump says the goal remains to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon.
We're going to win on paper, or we're going to win military. One way or the other.
Now, at the moment, there are doubts over a potential peace deal. Israeli forces and the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah continue to exchange strikes, despite Israel and Lebanon agreeing to a ceasefire. Hezbollah has rejected the latest deal, saying it's humiliating and is demanding all Israeli troops retreat from Lebanon.
Jeff Paul in Dubai.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea. We were meant to live free. Free to pursue our future and work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from pain. I tried everything and anything to help me get rid of my pain, and nothing freed me. It just masked the pain, and the side effects diminished my quality of life. I'm sure you have been there if you have real bad pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that is designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. And it is not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor. It was created for people to get back to living their life on their terms. Is that you? Walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter? This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take your stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today. 1995, 3-week quick start. Ready for you right now. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF.
Support conservative conversation on the radio in Atlanta by emailing us at sales@xtra1063.com.
God, so good. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Come on.
There's a shot out of a cannon.
Dude,
here it comes.
That's exactly right. I want to be as fired up as, gosh, Poison would be on stage when they're singing Dun Skinny Bob. Goodness gracious. If you needed something to wake you up, it just happened. It was just delivered. It was like the good Lord said, here you go. This is what you need.
Here's audio caffeine.
That's right. That's right. You've got your rainstorm, or you got your Monster Energy, and you got your Poison. Son, let's get going. What are you waiting on? That's That's what you get in the 7 o'clock hour on a Friday on Extra 106.3 with Tug and Los until 10. You get Unskinny Bop. I had somebody tell me yesterday that they didn't like Poison. I was like, what?
What?
I'm not gonna rat the person out, but they're in our office, and
no,
they were like,
I'd divorce her.
I know, exactly, yeah. It wasn't her.
Oh,
because there would have never been nuptials had I known that.
What do you mean you don't like Brett Michaels?
I'm done with you. You vanish from my sight.
Go on, get your stuff and go.
Get on out of here. You cheer against the Georgia Bulldogs or say you don't like Poison. This is over. I don't care how long we've been married. Hussy. No, this person told me that they were okay with Creed and Nickelback, but didn't like Poison.
Oh, it's Andy. Yeah. That sounds like the programming director over at the Fan. Yeah,
it was not. It was not Andy.
Listen, you can wink at me. I see what you're doing.
No, it wasn't. I promise you, it wasn't. It was. He's a wild man that's over in the sales pit, kind of to the left side of the sales pit. And that's all I'm going to give you. And you can try to fill in the blanks.
Steve? Carl?
Yeah, no.
Joe. It's got to be Joe.
It's none of them. None of them, because I don't think we have any of those names working in this building.
If you're going to like, and for lack of a better term, it's cheese kind of music.
Yeah.
Then you gotta like Poison if you like Creed.
Yes.
If you like formulaic, kind of general rock, then how do you not like one and not the other?
Yeah, because they're kind of one and the same. I mean, they're interchangeable, if you will. Are they? Do they sound identical? No, but it's the same formula. To your point,
are they complicated? No.
Tool, that's complicated.
Yes, I'd agree. Very complicated.
And I love their music too, and it's very dark. But I love it. The last concert I saw the month before the world shut down was Tool at State Farm Arena. It was amazing and complicated and confusing, and there's all kinds of things that are going on and amazing at the same time. But to your point, how do you pick and choose? I guess maybe it's just earworm worthy. I don't know.
I guess so. If you like Nickelback, and they have quite an audience, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them.
Yeah, they're fine.
It's formulaic rock.
Yep.
With the same repeating beats and hooks, and here's how the songs are all put together, and that's fine. Creed is just the same thing, except it's more emotional.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's the same thing in terms of it's not complicated. Like, you want to know complicated, and I'm not saying everybody has to go out and do this, but I tell you what, go put on any Radiohead album and then go put on Kid A.
Yeah.
And you're like, what was this?
Yeah, this is an explosion of audio is what this is.
That was a rock band who decided they were going to build an entire album not using their instruments.
Yeah, it's crazy. And but really, I kind of dig it at the same time. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people don't, they're just looking for Creep or, High and Dry from the Bends or whatever, and they were happy with that. But then when they went off the deep end with, I guess you'd call it.
With Kid A.
Yeah, with Kid A.
Kid A was experimental.
Dude, they lost a lot of audience. And they probably picked it up on the other side, but they lost a lot.
Honestly, for the longest time when I would listen to that album, I didn't get it. I didn't like it. It wasn't until I got a little bit older that when I realized what they were doing, maybe after I'd been doing my job for like 20 years, it was like, wow. Wow, that's pretty cool that's what they decided to do.
Yeah, I think I have an idea of why they did what they did. Yes. Another one that's just like that, and I think it would have been 1996, Pearl Jam's No Code.
Yeah.
Which was my least favorite Pearl Jam record at the time.
Mine too.
Which is now one of my absolute favorite Pearl Jam records of all time. I think it's kind of that same, to your point, it's that same thing. They were like, okay, we're not going to recreate 10. We're not going to recreate Versus. We're not going to recreate Vitology. What are we doing? And we're going to go a completely different direction altogether. And I think that's what's kept that band vibrant.
I told you when I got a chance to listen to it. And so I'm a Pete Yorn enthusiast.
Yeah,
I love his music.
He's so good.
His last album, he went to work with Bad Bunny's producer, and the album is not a traditional rock album. In fact, there's no percussion. There's nothing outside of acoustic music. And so it's just different sounding.
Yeah.
and I'm like, that sounds cool to me. It almost sounds kind of like a little bit of a Western sort of album. It's weird.
Dude, it's funny you say that because if you go back, I was just thinking when you said no percussion, if you go back to early country, the 50s and even some 60s, there was no percussion. It just wasn't there. Drums weren't introduced until like the late 60s and 70s. And that, so when you said, "Well," I was like, "Dude, that's exactly right. You hit the nail on the head."
That's what it sounds like to me. That from the very first track, I'm like, "This is a different sort of album." But that's what I like. I like when you can get out there. And so, all I'm pointing out is that if you like the bands that don't get out there, Nickelback, Creed, Pearl, Poison, then you should like all of them.
You should love them. That's right.
You know what you're gonna get,
dude. You know what's crazy now? If you think about what, and this is a bit of a stretch, but I feel like it connects a little bit with the formulaic stuff, is that dad rock used to be Aerosmith and Van Halen and Led Zeppelin, and it's not anymore. It's Creed. It's Nickelback. It's Blink-182, Fall Out Boy, and Foo Fighters to it. Foo Fighters, much better band than any other of the ones that I've listed, except the 70s bands, but I just mean of the newer bands. They're actually really, really talented, and I think they get experimental and they do really, really interesting music. But when you think about dad rock now, and it's 90s and early 2000s.
So I had a dad rock moment, now that we're referring to it as this. On the way back from a volleyball tournament, I landed on this one album, and then the Spurs went and won Game 7. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to change listening to this music for the entirety of the NBA Finals. And I did. I messed up. Going into Game 1, that's my fault. It was Collective Soul.
And I love that band. They're so good. Atlanta
and I listened to one of their albums from the early 2000s. I went, man, that was a fun album. And I'm now going to make it a point. I will drive around all day today. I will restore the bond between me and Collective Soul. I'm going to dad rock this thing the whole time.
Was it Dosage you were listening to?
I had Dosage. Okay, so I ended up on Dosage for a while. In fact, I want to see if I can bring these
because that's got Heavy on there. I'm trying to remember what else is on there.
So I started out with Discipline Breakdown from 97.
Okay.
And then worked my way into Dosage of 99. But Discipline Breakdown is the album that got me going on it, where I was like, man, this is going well for me. I'm going to keep this thing going.
Let's keep up the progress.
I just remember I was home from college. I had the album, and my mom insisted that I paint the rails that were leading up to our house as like a summer project. You know, it'll take you a couple days.
Yeah.
And all I did was I threw in that album, listed on the CD player outside, just painted rails for a couple days during the summer.
Dude, that's so great. I love it. Dad rock. Oh, you know what? I wonder if women get offended by dad. I mean, probably not regular women. I guess if they're liberal minded, they'd get offended. But because there's not like a mom rock. What would mom rock? Is there a mom rock?
I think if we were to talk about mom music, like right now, have you seen who's playing the Sphere in Vegas?
Kenny Chesney.
Well, what's coming?
Oh,
Backstreet Boys.
Oh yes, look. Dude, that's
they
right.
Are just as big right now.
Absolutely. And New Kids on the Block, are they do it? I'm sure for the Sphere, it's just them.
I think it's just Backstreet.
But they normally tour together, because of how huge that is, and they sell out everywhere they go. That's a good point. Boy bands or mom rock. That's where it is.
I mean, it calls back to a period 30 years ago. Fun music.
Yeah.
Not complicated, fun music.
You're probably getting ready to go hang out at the mall, or something, or later on headed out, to the college bars, and you're getting ready, because I just know how my wife does it. She still has that little bit of she gets ready to the music, especially on the weekends. I'm not home when she gets ready to go to work, but she will still put on the music she likes as she's putting on her makeup or all that sort of stuff. And it's precious, it's cute, and all those things. But it harkens back to when I think probably that's what she did as a teenager or her early 20s in college, to get ready to go out and have a good time. She's probably listening to New Kids on the Block or something.
I think you've nailed it, because I asked Rock about mom rock.
Yeah.
Because, dad rock's a little bit different. It basically pointed out, typically 30 to 50-something-year-old women, it says it evokes nostalgia.
Yeah.
For childhood car rides, minivans, family life. And as it points out, it's often tied to moms driving with the windows down, singing along, or playing music at home.
Absolutely right, man. God, music's so great. That's why I love it. That's why I love it right there.
Are there y'all Weird Al fans?
Not really.
I just saw a clip on my social media, I think it was 2 days ago, where he was still doing stadium shows.
Oh, dude, our friend from Howard Brothers, Andy, Los, you know him. Andy, who I don't think he's with Howard Brothers anymore, but he was with them for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
And I know they still have a wonderful relationship. But anyway, I saw a post from him on social media. Shout out Ho Bros, country call out to y'all. Love the Howard Brothers folks. And Andy had taken his kid to see Weird Al. It's funny you bring that up because I don't know anybody that would go to a Weird Al show. And I saw that and I was like, okay, well, I guess I do.
I was looking at the comments. People said it's like one of the greatest concerts you can ever go to.
I can't believe that.
I agree.
Los, I mean, I'll let you be the judge on this.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
Okay, but let's also make this point. The guy sold a lot of albums.
Oh, yes. Dude,
like he sold a lot of music for a guy that everyone acts like they don't listen to.
I gotta tell you, I never have.
Eat It was a classic.
I mean, I know it, but I mean, I can't say that I've never owned a CD or a record or a tape or I don't know that I've ever. If you went through my Apple Music that I pay for, you would ever find a Weird Al song streamed. I don't believe that it would. If you can track that, and I don't know if you can. I don't think I've ever streamed a Weird Al song. So I know Eat It, and I remember it when it was, on MTV and all that, but I don't know that I ever.
All right, he has sold 12 million albums worldwide of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for a satire act?
He is the best-selling comedy recording artist of all time.
Okay, well.
Is the way it's noted.
Okay, there you go. I love it. All right.
And I will point out, UHF, kind of a cult classic.
Yeah, the movie. I remember seeing that. I don't remember much about it though. It was. You laugh. Do you still enjoy it?
I just remember the scene about trying to find the marble in the oatmeal, and if you did, you get to drink from the fire hose.
Yeah. Because it was all about a UHF channel on TV, right?
Yeah, and it's all these just horrible programs that they're trying to put on to build a network, basically.
Yeah, gosh. UHF. I hadn't thought about that in probably 30 years.
It grossed $6 million on a $5 million budget. But it as you point out, it's a sought after collectable because it's out of print.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can get it, can you imagine having that being your prized possession on the shelf? I got a copy of UHF.
Copy of UHF. Check it out.
Look at here. Got a spotlight on it. Just super nerdy and weird. I love it. All right, quickly. First thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. Man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
It's fun to do bad
Put
things.
a boot in your ass, courtesy of the Morning Xtra.
It is fun to do bad things.
Will be tonight, I guarantee it.
Yes, I'm telling you, as Los watches his Spurs get a win against those stinking New York Knicks. No good for nothing, dirty, low-down New York Knicks. Isn't it crazy, Los, that we have to be choosing and cheering for? I'm reluctant to call it that, but pulling for, at least slightly pulling for Susan Collins.
We've been reduced to this.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yes, it is. And she just voted, one of 4 Republicans to vote against moving the SAVE Act forward as part of budget reconciliation, I do believe. And so one of the 4 just worst rhinos of all time. I mean, she is up there. I know it's goofy radio to do the Mount Rushmore, but she would be one of the 4 faces on the worst rhinos in the Republican Party. And that's who we have to cheer for against the Nazi.
Her Liberty score is an F. This is not like John Fetterman, who votes for the Democrats nearly in lockstep. It's over 90-some% of the time he votes with them. Susan Collins is about 50-50. She's like the best Republican Maine could ever have because she's so wishy-washy, and she does vote with the Democrats. And so that's who they've decided to target to flip her seat. The worst Republican in the entirety of the country, along with Lisa Murkowski.
That's what we have to hope for.
I almost feel like I have this. I've told you about him, guy that emails me all the time, and he's the most wishy-washy Republican. It's hard to follow him sometimes. Some days Trump's the greatest of all time. He loves him, and then the next minute he'll send me an email talking about how much he hates him for whatever the reason. And he was like, "I'm pulling for Plattner," and I was like, "Wow!" I was
good
like,
luck with that.
"Yeah, good luck." I was like, "I cannot. I can't."
But the Democrats aren't even doing this.
Yeah,
these
that's
days.
exactly right. That's why I was like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" And his reasoning was exactly what we're laying out. He's like, "She's the worst rhino ever," and I was like, "Yeah, I get it." But he's a communist, and like an open mouth. Yes, I'm a communist. And has the Nazi tattoo, and now that the New York Times article has broken about the sexual assaults, the weird statement about dominance if someone broke in his house.
If somebody broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, he said he would rape them, not in a gay way, but to show dominance.
Over a man breaking in. So that, and then the girlfriends, a couple of them, had said he called his Nazi tattoo my Totenkopf.
So he knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, well, exactly. He knew.
Because he had it for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, he knew the whole time. He knew when he got it tattooed on his chest what it was. He went on TV, said he didn't. Democrats said, "Oh, it was a mistake." And the girlfriends were like, nah, it wasn't. This is how he referred to his tattoo. It's unbelievable. It really is. There's so many angles of confusion for me, Los, on this guy alone, because he is everything that they've put at the foot and of Donald Trump and anybody that supports him. Everything that they say those people are, we are, I suppose, is what Graham Plattner represents, and they support him.
It's a wonderful opportunity to see if we should trust all women, if toxic masculinity is bad. I think a lot of this is the hope that the Democrats had to find men who were actually men. This is one of their great hopes. And as it turns out, the dude's a turd.
Yeah. You know, I saw Hugh Hewitt say something. I don't know when he said it, but in the last couple of days, I just saw it this morning. He said the Democrat Party doesn't have an anti-Israel bias. They don't have an anti-Zionist bias. They have an anti-Semitic problem. And it gets disguised as anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, when truly it's anti-Semitic. And you think about Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and now Graham Plattner. And dude, you could list, a bunch of them that have this. And I thought that was a well-put statement. And I think he's exactly right. And now it's on display. You can't even argue it.
Well, it puts you in a very weird scenario when you're a guy like, let's say, Chuck Schumer. You're Jewish who has to support the Nazi because you share a party with an actual Nazi.
You just won't do it, dude. If the roles were, I wouldn't do it. There's no way.
And I think that's what you're now seeing and you're now hearing. So many of these Democrats that are being asked about it, they're continuing to try to peel off here like this is bad, and it keeps getting worse. And the more information that keeps coming out about him, the worse position he puts them in. And if he doesn't come off the ballot, which I talked about, I think that he'll be out of this race within the next week or so.
Yep.
You're going to have 5 months of having to answer about why this dude has a Nazi tattoo and why he wants to rape somebody who breaks into his house or at a house.
And you're gonna go to the mat for that. Dude.
I mean, it was easier to defend. Yeah, he thinks some people should, people that are in the army are fat and lazy, or his thing on how black people don't tip. They found that easier to defend.
Jeez, man. Abby Phillips on CNN went off on him, and it's interesting though the people like Sunny Hostins on The View. She was like, "Yes, he's all those things. He's all those terrible things, but that seat's really important." Dude, just no morals whatsoever, no scruple, nothing, dude. It's just power. Then that's it. That's the only thing they answered him. It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's one thing if you're like, I think Trump is mean. He tweets mean stuff.
Sure.
This guy has a Nazi tattoo.
Dude, enough said, right? Where do you go from there?
These do not equate.
No,
well, the Republicans, vote for a bad guy.
Yeah, they voted for a bad guy. We've called him for a Nazi for 10 years. This dude actually has a Nazi tattoo, and you're supporting him. It's wild. Dude, what a crazy, crazy thing that they're
that they're supporting. The support levels, speaking of, for the trans movement in America are headed in the right direction. Next on Extra.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
What a season. The boys are giving us plenty to celebrate, but if you've celebrated a little too hard after a win and ended up in jail, you need A Second Chance bail bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Let's be honest. All cars and all car dealerships are not created equally. So when you're buying a new Toyota, you're not buying a vehicle, you're protecting a major investment. That's why where you buy matters. For over 50 years, Marietta Toyota has served our community with the reputation built on straight answers, real accountability, and doing business the right way, proudly here since 1975. They have realized since day one that giving the customer the best deal possible, more car than they thought they were going to get inside their budget, that's how you keep people coming back. Here's the difference you won't hear everywhere. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and, of course, supported by Marietta Toyota, a dealership that will be here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. Visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park, MariettaToyota.com. Visit Marietta Toyota. We've been here and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could sell funds.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Friday, June 5th, and here are your headlines. Senate Republicans have advanced President Donald Trump's roughly $70 billion immigration enforcement package after a marathon voting session, sending the measure to the House. The debate exposed divisions within the GOP over a now shelved $2 billion Justice Department fund and other provisions, but party leaders ultimately unified behind the border security plan. Recent rounds of heavy rain have improved drought conditions across much of North Georgia, according to the National Weather Service. Officials say parts of the region have improved from extreme to severe drought, but they warn conditions could quickly worsen again without consistent rainfall throughout the summer. And finally, the Fulton County Board of Assessors has approved a new property tax rates and new appraisal method for data centers that could add roughly $46 million in revenue. Property owners will begin receiving assessment notices June 16th. Will have the opportunity to appeal their valuations. Today's weather is a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 86 and a low of 62. No rain is expected over the weekend with a sunny Saturday high of 88 and a Sunday high of 86 with some clouds. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 1063. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Loved having you involved in the show so much yesterday and would love that again today and every day moving forward. You're always welcome here on Extra. The support, well, there's a few categories, Los. That you see support falling in something that had been kind of trending in the other direction really recently.
I will tell you that I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm pointing it out. I was wrong because a decade ago, a little bit more, I would take what my gay friends said and thought, okay, that's the limits. What my gay friends would tell me is they were worried about, hey, if my husband ends up, or at the time partner, ends up in the hospital, I can't go into the room. I can't be with them. Legally, that I'm not able to do that. And I thought, that's kind of a shame. Y'all have been together longer than my wife and I have. When you started talking about some of the tax purposes and the way that they have to file their taxes, I was like, well, it seems kind of unfair. Yeah. And my retort when it came to gay marriage was always, well, do you have to call it marriage? But that's the other thing, too. These guys are both more religious than I am. Yeah. Okay? I was like, they're in church every Sunday. So my thinking was, hey, they'll be like this is what the legislation is built on. This is the direction things are going. This is how gay marriage and gay rights will occur in this country, and that's as far as it's going to go. I was wrong. Okay? What we've now seen, and this was from a poll that has been out now for a couple of days, and it was echoed and put out by the AP. It talked about the support for not only trans, but gay marriage, how it is falling apart. Now, it hasn't moved much when it comes to the Democrats, but when it comes to adults in the United States and Republicans in the United States, they've even ditched out on it. They're even starting to drop as far as saying, yeah, that's fine. And it's all in response to, you told me you just wanted marriage, and now you're basically shoving all this stuff in my face, including Pride Month.
Yeah, well, then the weird stuff, and I'm not saying that all gay people support this, but the weird stuff about having trans readers at elementary schools and just the constant barrage of whatever that is.
You told me you wanted to be in the hospital and that you wanted the tax situation the same, and I said, that sounds fair. Probably as far as it's going to go. I didn't have drag time story hour that was being pushed at me. I didn't have to worry about every single corporation in the country during this month has to make the decision, are we gay this month or not? Yeah. I mean, all of this stuff has gotten to where it has soured people and their interest on this. Now, again, marriage across the board is down to start with. Hopefully we're going to see that bounce back with some of these younger people that have
I think you will
moved closer back to religion.
Yep.
But I think that's kind of this is that moment of saying, you pushed me too far and now my support for you is waning.
It's a little bit like the conversation we had with Dr. McCormick in the fact that he was in favor of this temporary status because he knew what was going to happen to the people being sent back to, was it El Salvador? Is that where it was?
It's Haiti.
Haiti, there we go, thank you. People have been pushed so far with the border being open for 4 years and 20 million plus, or whatever the number is, coming into the United States, and they were telling you, no, it's you. You're the problem. You're not seeing what you think you're seeing. You're not hearing what you think you're hearing. And people were like, I'm done with this. I have no patience for any of it. Because you pushed it so far, I reject all of it. Wholesale rejection. I don't care about, I'm not sympathetic to anything anymore. You've pushed me so far. And that's kind of what I see with this too. Would you agree?
Yeah, in fact, the numbers bear it out. The Gallup poll has it where if you go back several years ago, 4 and 5 years ago, you will find that within this country, when it comes to U.S. adults, about 71% approve and did not have any sort of issue, believed that same-sex marriage should be legal. That's now down to 65%. Now, you might be saying, well, it's only like a 6% drop.
Yeah.
That's a rather large drop in terms of when you're looking at this many Americans. In fact, when you look at this survey and you start digging into it, you now have 37% of Republicans that say same-sex marriage should be legally valid. That's down. And so an issue that was basically a 50-50 issue has now continued to fall on the Republican side to basically at the very worst a 40-60 issue.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the U.S. adult population in general, that number continues to fall.
When you talk about the trans thing, I think most people are very tolerant of almost anything. Just as Americans, you know what I mean? Like, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. That's pretty much where I feel like most people are. I think when that gets pushed into children, the world of children, we're going to take a young, healthy, child and change their body in a way that can never be repaired. It can never be fixed. And this is a child that's, obviously is not of adult. They've not made it to the point where they actually understand what's happening to them. And it looks like an industry that takes advantage of children to make a whole lot of money. And that's where I think even with that, because you and I talk about it, like if you see somebody who's trans and it's hard to miss, you always know, 9 times out of 10, you always know. No desire to be ugly, no desire to say anything. I just know what it is. But when you go into the realm of children, that changes, and that makes people go the exact opposite way again, Los.
Oh, the problem is, I think it's the linking of one group to the next. Like, for instance,
yes,
if we were to have, let's just say we had the Southern Poverty Law Center spending for the KKK to walk down the middle of the Battery.
Yeah.
And if the KKK was waving American flags, I'd be like, no, sir.
Yeah.
Get your own flag.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that you have so many of these people that are either supportive or part of or wanting to take part of in the trans movement, and the trans movement wraps itself in the gay movement.
That's right. Yep.
And I'm just telling my gay friends, my lesbian friends, kick the trans out. Okay? Like, it's time to send them on their way. Because it's become an industry.
Yep.
And that's what it is. It's a money-making industry is what it's turned into. And so rather than having just a young man who is into other men and is just going to grow up as a gay man, the medical industry and this industry as a whole has gotten a hold of him and told him, no, you're a woman and we need to go do surgery and medication now.
And this medication and surgery will haunt you for the rest of your life.
That is where we need to see a separation. Like, hell, if you want to try and fly my flag with those values, hell no. I'd be saying the same thing if I was part of LGBTQ. I'd be like, the T's, y'all got to go, man.
You're taking advantage of people that are have a mental illness. It's been labeled a mental illness for forever because that's what it is. And then think about the things that your kids come to you for. Even the most basic of things. Hey, I was joking about it the other day on my little country show. I was talking about how, Jacob's come to us and as a 21-year-old was like, hey, I need to learn to cook better. I need to learn to wash clothes. I got paid the other day from coaching ball. I don't know how to put my money in the bank.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, because he's never really, he has a bank account. He has always had a bank account, but he's always had a card. There was never that I need to go deposit the check. And most people don't deposit checks now. It's all direct deposit. His is a physical check, and he's for 21 years now, he's never really dealt with that. The only time a check would come in is if his grandma, you gave him $25 for his birthday or something. And so it's the little things that they don't know. And he's 21, and he's still going through things he don't know. So can you imagine for a 12-year-old or even younger that they're having this mental issue, and somebody's like, instead of, hey, let's nurture this child, let's help them grow out of this, and let us be kind and gentle through the process. They're like, nah, I see a real grand opportunity here to make a whole lot of money. What do you say? And that just is the filthiest, grossest thing that I can comprehend.
27% of Americans in 1996 felt that there should be same-sex marriage legal in this country. That number got to basically 71% and is now continuing to fall. And what I'm just pointing out, Tug, is that when you have an issue such as this the trans issue, in my opinion, it wasn't mainstream and certainly didn't exist in 2015 when you had the Supreme Court make this ruling. It wasn't like we were like, well, now we can go get all the penises cut off and you can go marry whoever you want. It's like it was not part of the discussion. The fact that they have made it part of the discussion in the way that they have, the Democrats being the ones to do so, to the point where, as we did last hour, New York is looking to get rid of mother and father in their documents. When you keep pushing in these weird ways, we push back differently. And our pushback is, to hell with you and your marriages.
Well, it's just easy to be like, I don't want to have to deal with any of this.
Yeah, it's like you're so silly. I'm just not going to support you at all. You go do what you want, but I don't. In fact,
I want no part of it.
Here's how I would look at this. If the Supreme Court was to rule the other way in some wild case, and suddenly gay marriage was no longer legal in this country. Now, granted, there's going to be states that were doing it because some states were doing it anyway, and they were recognizing the union from that particular state. If that happened, you know who is not going to be bothered by it? Me, because it doesn't affect me one bit.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is, hey, if you want to have this as a right, sure, I'm the one who pushed for it. I was like, yeah, sounds good to me. All I'm telling you is, keep making it to where it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah,
and stop trying to change this weird stuff in society. Stop trying to have your story hours or having men participate in women's sports. What you're doing is damaging all of it as a whole.
It's just too far, and people have had enough, and they're like, I'm out. And I think that's exactly what you're saying.
Did you see the Los Angeles Times article on A.B. Hernandez, how she was protected by love? Yeah. She conquered. I'm like, it's a boy who beat a bunch of girls.
Yeah. How are you proud of that? And
telling you, gays, lesbians, kick out the trans.
It's weird.
Your life will be so much better if you just kick the trans out. You just look at them and go, that's a mentally ill person.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, when Fetterman gets primaried, do not say, hey, he can run as a Republican. He can't. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, June 5th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the final game of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays last night. 7-2, the final tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates come to town to open up a 3-game series. It'll be Martin Perez on the mound. He'll be opposed by Mitch Keller. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Stanley Cup Finals now tied at 1 as the Carolina Hurricanes got a 4-3 overtime victory last night over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Game 3 from Las Vegas will be on Saturday night. And for the NBA Finals tonight, the New York Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs 1-0. Tip-off from San Antonio tonight is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Calling all contractors. Stovall & Company Wholesale Landscape Supply is here for you.
We've been family owned and operated for more than 75 years, and we just opened our 11th location in Canton, Georgia.
We are proud to provide all your wholesale irrigation, nursery, and landscape supply needs.
We are partnered with Keystone Hardscape to offer a wide variety of products to enhance any outdoor living space.
Here at Stovall, we have it all. Check us out at StovallInc.com or visit any of our convenient locations throughout North Georgia.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Special Olympics Georgia is teaming up with Dunkin' Donuts for Cops at Donut Shops on Friday, June 5th from 6 to 10 a.m. Join us for the torch run and then some treats with our heroes on the streets. We'll help raise money and awareness for Special Olympics Georgia athletes. Donate at participating Dunkin' Donuts June 5th or at SpecialOlympicsGA.org.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Fox in the Fast Lane.
The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Michigan Sunday for the Firekeepers Casino 400. Denny Hamlin took the checkered flag last week at the Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville. Hamlin took the lead at the drop of the green flag on lap 1, but was penalized for jumping that start and reset to last. But he clawed his way back to set up for an exciting 4-lap finish where he emerged victorious. Hamlin is secure in second place in the Cup Series standings, sitting nearly 100 points behind Tyler Reddick for the top spot. Rounding out the top 5 is Ryan Blaney in third, Chase Elliott, who climbed up to 4th place, and Ty Gibbs, who dropped down to 5th. But now the series shifts to Michigan International Speedway, where Hamlin won last year. He looks to go back-to-back and is favored to do so. The action gets underway Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. For Fox in the Fast Lane, Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
Tug and Los start your day the right way on the Morning Xtra.
You know what Fidel Castro's estimated worth was?
I have no idea, but I bet it's astronomical.
$900 million.
Yeah.
Raul Castro is somewhere right around $100 million. So in a country that can't routinely keep the power on, that has cars from before the embargo and doesn't have regular tourism, yet the Castros are worth $1 billion.
But it's America's fault.
Can I give you something else to ponder?
Yeah.
So back when she was alive, Queen Elizabeth II, remember this is the head of the royal family, and she was on the throne for like 60 years. The woman's worth $500 million.
Hey, how much was Fidel worth?
$900 million.
What? How could that be so?
Worth nearly double the Queen of England, and they can't keep the lights on. That is how communism works.
That's right.
I can't give it to you more cleanly than that. That's a shot, no chaser.
No, that's right.
The Queen of England is worth half of what Fidel Castro was worth.
The Morning Xtra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. When John Fetterman gets primaried, I don't want to hear Republicans say he can be our guy. Talk about that in just a second. I want you to swing by Dunkin' this morning between now and 10. Get yourself Sammy, get yourself a cup of coffee, and say hello to local law enforcement on site. Local law enforcement officers are raising awareness for the Guardians of the Flame initiative and collecting donations for Special Olympics Georgia. Big thanks to Duncan and all of our law enforcement, men and women in uniform, defending the neighborhoods that you live in, partners, and supporting these incredible athletes this morning until 10 a.m. Guardians of the Flame, get out there and go to Duncan. That way you can help raise money for a great cause. I have 2 Special Olympians in my family. One is, aged out, but the other is still playing, and it is fun to go watch. There's no better than going to Special Olympics. You want to talk about kids that have passion, kids that love unconditionally, and they love to play too. That's Special Olympics. It's beautiful. I love it.
I love that stuff. I mean, my wife and I, when I first moved to Georgia, one of the things that we would volunteer with on a regular basis was the Miracle League.
Yeah,
and so when you get a chance to do anything with those kids, it's awesome. Yes, it's like volunteer. Drop a little bit of money. Help out in any way you can. It is such a great opportunity.
The only person that gets it better than people who volunteer with any sort of regularity with Special Olympics Georgia or, like you said, Miracle League or something like that is Tim Tebow. That dude, when he does those proms, and it's once a year and it's across the country and it's so sweet and so special. And I know that there's a bunch of them here in town as well. And dude, he gets it.
And he's such a good dude, man. I'm a Georgia Bulldog through and through. I love Tim Tebow. There's just no better than him.
Can I bring up another good dude, fun dude
that
we've buried the lead on today?
Uh-oh.
Did you see Wiley Ballard last night?
Yes, dude. Up there, they had the tarps off kept growing. Did you notice it?
Okay, for the audience here, if you didn't see it, so Wiley Ballard, who does sidelines and does that work with the Atlanta Braves and the Braves Vision, Braves Radio Network, all that stuff. Wiley was dressed in Revolutionary War attire, complete with the white hair, the hat. I mean, he looked like he'd stepped off the battlefield, like he'd been serving for General Washington.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, he was in the full getup. He was in the full costume.
That's right.
And in the 8th inning, when Dubon gets the homer to get the game tighter to 3-2, Wiley is up in that area that Tug is talking about, and all it is a bunch of dudes shirtless and Wiley.
Yeah, and he's there looking like George Washington. He's celebrating, got the powdered wig. My son, who is a college baseball player, and he stopped and he was like, dude, Wiley Ballard is the best. He was like, he's so much fun to watch. He has won so many people over, and we've been fortunate, Los, to be able to spend time with him. He's the nicest dude you'll ever meet in your whole life.
Good dude.
So talented, and he is finally getting the credit and the just desserts, if you will, for working so hard for so long.
To be very honest, when I met him and the first couple times I was ever working around him, all I thought to myself is, man, this guy's really boring. To see
because he's so even keeled.
Well, because he just does. He just doesn't get worked up.
No, I know.
And so he was doing radio, like very emotionless. And so to then see what he's done and how it's turned in the last few years with him doing work on television. The comedy is so good.
It's so because it's so out of
subtle.
Character.
Yeah,
because
it's so chill.
Yeah, it is
so good. So yeah, great for him, and awesome moment last night to have. And again, if you go on X and just search Wiley Ballard, you'll see him in the middle of like 80 shirtless dudes, and he is the Revolutionary War character.
That's exactly right.
Him chatting up that girl last year.
Yes,
at the game
that made national headlines.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
National headlines. I wonder if he ever connected.
We covered that story.
Yeah, we did. I wonder if he ever connected with her. I mean, like, because I know they at least talked on the phone one time. I don't know how that went or where it went. Probably, it's probably dead in the water after that. But still, that was a national headline story where the game was a blowout, if I recall.
And they were making him go around the ballpark and introduce himself to attractive women
because he's a single guy.
And of course, then like the female sportscasters, like I would never be allowed to do this. I'm like, slow down, Gertrude. Like he's just having some fun, and they put him up to it.
Just silly fun, and ridiculous. Hey, quickly, John Fetterman, he has better polling with Republicans in his state of Pennsylvania than he does Democrats. He says the right things most time. He said Trump's not a Nazi. He said Israel deserves to be able to exist first and then defend themselves, right? Those two things get him in hot water in his own party to the point where they're talking about primarying him, and I bet they do. Here's what's going to happen, though. Republicans are going to be like, well, we're going to rally behind John Fetterman. And as much as I would like to meet Fetterman, just to talk to him, just to get his point of view on some things, just to understand him as much as I can. He votes with the Democrats 93% of the time. He is not a Republican. He can't be a Republican. He's not going to be a Republican. You will call him Rhino. You will call him Susan Collins if you were, as a Republican, to go support him for office. So please, back off of that. When it happens, back away from that silly stance.
I do find it pretty funny that a man who does vote 93% of the time, which is far more than Susan Collins when we give her a hard time.
Yeah.
That 93% does not justify an automatic, he's our guy when it comes to the Democrats.
That's exactly right.
And that's the deal, too. His numbers with Democrats are much better in the state of Pennsylvania than they are nationally. Nationally, he's looked at as a giant turncoat.
Yeah, right. Even though 93% of the time. And he's a turncoat because of two things he says that are unacceptable to the Democrats and to liberals in general. Trump's not a Nazi. He's not an authoritarian. He's not a dictator. Israel has the right to exist and to defend itself, especially in a neighborhood where most of the countries surrounding them hate them and want to attack them. Now, is that changing? Tiniest bit, gradually changing. You're seeing a little bit, some cooperation between the Israelis and the Saudis and the Israelis and the UAE and things like that. You are seeing that. But overall, they're in a neighborhood where they're watching, their countrymen be attacked on a daily basis. And all John Fetterman says is, yeah, they deserve to be able to defend themselves. And that's enough to say, you're out of here. We don't care how well you do for us. We will push you out. You are low down. You're the scum of the earth because of you saying those two things.
I do think it'll be fascinating to watch what happens when, because I'm with you. I think he ends up being somebody they're going to primary.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I wonder, based on the fact that, as he's pointed out, I'm from a purple state. This is how I'm going to be. This is how I am. I wonder if that is going to help him when they get into that process. Because typically, if you get primary, there's always going to be people that are like, wait, he's an incumbent, and he's our guy. The state, when you look at their polling, the Republicans favor him because they don't feel like he's completely wackadoo. The Democrats, or I would say are somewhere in like the 60-40 range. There's 40% that are like, he doesn't represent us. There's 60 that are like, hey, we're a purple state. It's what it sounds like. I wonder if there would be enough energy to get him primaried and actually have him taken out during that process. Because, again, he's represented the state the way you would imagine you're supposed to when it's a purple state.
Yeah, so your point's well taken. Probably the likelihood of it actually working when you primary him is probably not that great. But the fact that the party is willing to do it.
The fact that they're willing to do it to an incumbent senator.
And the guy that votes 93% of the time. Dude, we can't get Republicans to vote with us 93% of the time.
I mean, keep in mind, the reason why John Cornyn gets primaried and has what happens in Texas, John Cornyn tried to go for the guns. Okay, in Texas, he went for their guns.
Yuck.
Like, I'm sorry, that's one of those, like, nope, that's not going to ever work, ever, ever, ever. There has not been one point where I would say John Fetterman has gone after one of, like, the absolute pillars of Democrat society. Like, yeah, I believe that we should do away with abortions.
Yeah.
He's never said that. He's never done anything like that.
But he did say Israel can defend itself. He did say Trump's not a Nazi. Those
are two in there.
You just can't do it. You can't do it. And that should be for anybody that don't keep up with politics closely. And I know most people listening right now, you do. But I'm just think about people that don't. And the fact that when they hear this guy votes, I mean, if you break down the facts, this guy votes with you all the time. And they still want to get rid of him because of the things you can't say. I mean, they would be so baffled. They would be confused. They'd be like, hang on, why are you going at this guy again? This makes no sense.
John Cornyn signed on with the Democrats on legislation that would limit gun rights in the state of Texas. Fetterman said that Trump's not a Nazi.
Yep. Dude, can you...
these are not the same.
No, they're not.
To them.
No, you're right. They're not. But if I wish I could get some people like Fetterman, not him, but like him on the Republican side. You know what I mean? I wish I could get some people that would vote with the party that much. We have 4 people that keep blocking the Save America Act. Just the worst of the worst. Give me a Nancy Pelosi, a conservative Nancy Pelosi, and a conservative Fetterman. I'd take them all day and never primary them ever because I'd be so delighted with them. We don't have it on our side. Me and you are sick and tired of Joe and Jill. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Conspiracy theories. Hey, I'm no stranger to conspiracy theories. I'm the guy on the radio that said dolphins had swum up the torpedo tubes of a nuclear submarine and they were going to nuke Los Angeles. But I followed that radio show with 2 words, April Fools. But the conspiracy theories today are just ridiculous. Who are the idiots that buy into these things? First and foremost, the Earth is flat. No, seriously. If you're on Facebook, look up some of the Flat Earth Facebook pages. The Earth is flat. It's surrounded by a wall of ice and covered by a dome. The sun is only 4,000 miles away. How do they know this? It's all in the Bible. The firmament in the Bible is actually that glass dome over the flat earth. We call them fluffs. Here's a new one. That teacher from New England that died in the Challenger disaster, oh, she's not dead. She's now a professor in a law school up there in New England. The whole Challenger thing was faked. How do we know? Because the earth is flat. That's how we know. Those condensation trails that jet airliners leave, those are chemtrails. They're chemicals that the government is putting in the air to poison us and control us. There was never a moon landing. It was faked. All of the pictures of Earth taken from space, they're fake. Try this one. Birds aren't real. They're actually small drones being operated by the government to keep an eye on us. No, not kidding. The trouble with these things is that people actually believe them. And if they will believe those, they'll believe slanderous lies like Alex Jones and school shootings. And 9/11 was an inside job. Come on, folks, do some homework. Don't let idiots with internet connections steer you into this insanity. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Republicans did it on their own. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it took them all night in the Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47. This bill, as amended, is passed.
That was just before 5 a.m., approving nearly $70 billion to fund Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement through 2029, which Democrats opposed, but the process used to pass it did not allow a filibuster to block the funding. It goes to the House next.
There were bipartisan efforts to add amendments that would restrict what the president has called a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund for Trump's political allies who believe they've been politically persecuted. One such defeated amendment was proposed by Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, who was recently defeated by a Trump-backed primary challenger, which would have redirected the fund's payments to law enforcement officers hurt in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The bill also does not include $1 billion in security for the controversial White House ballroom. A legal challenge to stop construction returns to court today. Late last night, President Trump posted on Truth Social the person suing has no standing, and the case is highly damaging to our country, calling the ballroom vital for national security. The president keeps trying to work out a deal to end the Iran conflict.
The main parts of the deal is they can't have a nuclear weapon. The Strait will open immediately.
Iran's been blocking most shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. It's also demanding Israel stop attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon, but those attacks continue today. There's a new attempt to try to stop the war in Ukraine.
In an open letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky proposes a meeting between the two, a step President Trump is encouraging.
I think it would be great if they met. They should get it done.
Zelensky's letter comes as Russia intensifies airstrikes against Kyiv, and Ukrainian drones have hit deeper into Russian territory.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The president's threatening to veto a House-passed bill to provide new aid, weapons, and loans to Ukraine. America's listening.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea. We were meant to live free. Free to pursue our future, work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from pain. I tried everything and anything to help me get rid of my pain, and nothing freed me. It just masked the pain, and the side effects diminished my quality of life. I'm sure you have been there if you have real bad pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that is designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. And it is not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor. It was created for people to get back to living their life on their terms. Is that you? Walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter? This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take your stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today. 1995, 3-week quick start. Ready for you right now. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra Extra 106.3, Fridays, Friday. God, love Friday. I love you. Love Friday.
What a weird song you're singing.
I know, it's just West. It's rough. It's the truth. I love people. I love everybody, and I love Fridays. It's my favorite. There's nothing that gets me fired up like a Friday. Saturday don't get me this fired up unless it's for college football season. That's the one caveat. But otherwise, dude, I roll into a Friday like Hell's Angels. Let's go! You know, crank it up with my big old, what are those called? The choppers with the big high handlebars. That's me on a Friday.
I don't know how those would be comfortable to ride.
They don't look comfortable. I'll admit to you, they don't. And speaking of Harley, Robbie Starbuck up in Nashville, he's kind of a conservative guy on social media, involved, you know, just in conservative politics. He actually kind of exposed Harley Davidson, I guess it was last year, for a whole bunch of weird woke stuff that you know, this great American brand wasn't or shouldn't, you wouldn't think would be involved with. And then they kind of backed off of it for a little bit. And then I saw a video of him last night going, oh, you thought they had backed off? They've not. Here's more of what Harley Davidson is doing. And I think they're alienating their fan base a little bit there. I don't know where that leads. I don't know what it comes to. And I'm not a Harley rider. I'm not a motorcycle rider, so it doesn't really hit my radar screen. But it does seem weird that Harley Davidson be involved in weird stuff like that. When I'm, you know, just me thinking out loud.
Oh, my God.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. This gives you that. You're like, oh, what? How could that be so? You know? But anyway. Yeah, I don't know about that. But back to the point. I love Friday. And I'm glad it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We talk about woke stuff later.
By the way, I love Friday.
Hey, come on, let's go. I love Friday like I love French fries. A lot.
What's your favorite kind of French fry?
Oh, like from a restaurant?
Like, are we going crinkle fry? We going straight? We going?
I like shoestrings. The shoestrings, like the
steak and shake.
Yeah, steak and shake is my favorite. Probably one of my favorite French fries. I don't get there often, but I do. When I'm there, I do love it. It is so good. Los, are you a French fry guy?
Wild Wing Cafe used to have their potato wedges.
Shoot,
the large wedge fry.
Oh, God.
Man, that thing could soak up whatever you dipped it in. It was like, oh, that was wonderful.
Yes, sir. We used to get these, they called them potato logs. Kind of reminds me of what you're talking about a little bit. At the Favorite Market up in Dalton, Georgia. They don't even exist anymore. But the Favorite Market was the best gas station food in the world. And it was before gas station food was kind of a thing. It was a little old lady back there, and she would cook everything. And the breakfast was off the charts. The chicken fingers, out of this world. Chicken livers, fried chicken livers were good. Anything you got in there. But they always had those big potato logs. That's what they called them, potato logs. And they were so incredible. God, I miss those days. Because now gas station food just seems like it's something that came out of the frozen section at a grocery store. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like anything it's just not good, if you ask me.
Back over in Port St. Joe, Florida, there used to be a woman who she cooked fried chicken in the Exxon.
Yes.
And that would be available. And she was making fresh fried chicken. So
yes, God bless her.
Well before, because now we have the integrated, cooking areas and the markets and stuff that you can get stuff in. But they used to refer to it, the people in Port St. Joe, as the disco chicken, because you would get off of work, go over there. She would be open till midnight or so, and she would serve you fresh fried chicken. So you get done with work, you go get fried chicken like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
It's exactly what I'm talking about, dude. And there's the only thing that even resembles what we're talking about these days is the Mexican restaurants that have opened up in gas stations. There's one right up the road here. I think was that Powers Ferry right there, the corner, right before you get to 285. So bad with the roads.
Same.
But there's one in Johns Creek that we pass on the way to church, and then sometimes, and I've swung into those, and it's actual people fixing actual food, not the microwavable stuff. It's the closest thing that I remember to, as I remember growing up. It's actual people doing the work instead of just throwing it in a microwave.
If y'all are awesome, y'all will go by Taco Macho.
Yes, I will. Where is Taco Macho?
Macho. Now, I don't know if the one in Alpharetta is still operational, I know there's one out on Canton Highway.
Okay.
But it is as authentic.
Yes, I will.
Straight out of the gas station Mexican food that you can get.
But, dude, that's the only place that you can get good gas station food anymore.
It's actually open right now.
Well, but we're at work right now.
I know, but I'm just saying it's
worth it.
Open right now.
Right.
If I just wanted to hit it, during a break or something.
Yeah, right. Run down there.
I'm telling you, they make these giant burritos.
Yes.
That
Preach,
are
brother. Preach.
Oh my God, they're massive. You just can't beat them. And but you got to be willing. You're going in there, and all right, I'm taking my life into my own hands.
Oh no,
here.
I don't feel like that at all.
Good. Well, then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, dude. I grew up eating fried chicken livers at a gas station in Dalton.
That's
what
true.
are you talking about? Just going into a gas station to get food is like part of my DNA.
Take a look at they have burritos and scrambled eggs with pico de gallo, bean and cheese, like these massive breakfast burritos.
It was. Dude, eating gas station food was a thing in Dalton, Georgia before it was a thing everywhere. Before gas stations really had that whole presentation. Now, like racetrack, Atlanta-based racetrack, they got pizza and all this sort of stuff. And I'm not knocking them. If you like it, you like it, whatever. It's just not good like I grew up eating gas station food before it was a thing. And now, like you're talking about Taco Macho and places like that, they're the candle that's left flickering of that before it was actually a thing. And there are things that when it becomes too popular, Los, that it goes to pot. You know what I mean? When I don't know. Maybe I don't have I'll give you an example. Our friend Scott Maxim, who does our websites here, he's part of the digital department at Dickey. He likes to go, not antiquing, but he likes to go to Goodwill just to see what he can find. Right? And there used to be all kinds of things that you would pick up there that one man's trash, another man's treasure, that kind of thing, and he would find the coolest stuff. Now, Goodwill has launched their own website, auction website, so all the really good stuff, like if somebody drops off something good, they send it to the auction website. So you can't even go looking for treasures at Goodwill anymore. It's become too popular, and people are online reselling stuff like that. And now Goodwill's even got in on the game.
Yeah, that used to be a fun time, especially when I was in high school. You'd go to Goodwill and you'd figure out, okay, what are we adding?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm not saying it's destroyed it, but I feel like food trucks is another thing. Remember when food trucks kind of first became a thing?
It was pretty novel.
Yeah. And food was inexpensive and really good. Now, if you go to a food truck, dude, they're really expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be the same as
a regular restaurant.
As we're going and grab regular stuff.
Exactly. So sometimes when things get too popular, it ain't good. And
that'll never be Taco Macho.
Never.
And they're open till 6:00, and so I got to decide.
Thank the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Might have to run to Taco Macho and be like, here, I'm going to get you all a slice of heaven.
No, that's exactly right. Sometimes things run its course and you get tired of them. Let's get to the first thing to know this morning.
Like you said about your wife.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Xtra, Tug Los.
If I didn't kill my wife,
Tug so divorced. Tug so bold.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being targeted right now. Because I never said any of those things about killing my wife or
killing your wife.
Well, that's what Bryce.
Tired of stuff.
Well, but not my wife. I would never get tired.
I mean, don't you get to that point every now and then? I mean, you've told us before where you're like, come on, you're like on my last nerve. Like, I just want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, let me be me for a little while. Has she slimmed back down? Come on, man. This is ugly. That's out of context. I said none of these things about my wife. Please stop piling. Because somebody's going to hear this and be like, hey, by the way.
You know what he's talking about down there?
And I've been doing this type of job our entire marriage, so she knows I talk about things, and she's like, just don't tell me, I'd rather not know. But sometimes when people knock on her door and be like, hey, did you hear? Or they'll just bring it up in passing. Hey, I heard that you like or don't like or whatever it is. And she's like, why would you bring that up? And so this is one of those moments I can't stand your son. Yeah, see.
Then what I'm going to do is, because now we're coming up on the 8:15, that means that this segment will be available here in about 3 minutes from the skimmer. I'm going to go back. I'll see what kind of careful editing, and I'll just pass it along as a friend.
No, see, there you go. Clip it out and email it to her. I love that idea, Los. Thank you. Boy, that's a friend indeed right there.
What a friend to help me out on this. Let's talk about somebody else who is not overly friendly.
I hate you.
The Bidens. We've had the Jill Biden book tour going on, and I would say this. I don't think it's helped with her goal, in my opinion, of trying to reimagine the narrative of what went on.
No, because everybody lived it for 4 years. You can't reimagine, especially if it's only been 18 months. You know what I mean? We haven't had a chance to forget.
She's claiming that she noticed nothing. I mean, that's her stance.
Yeah.
She noticed nothing. And then when things were going weirdly and she saw what we saw for 4 years, she was like, I thought he was having a stroke.
Oh, my.
Then it turned into, but I'm going to take him on stage and a Waffle House. Okay. This was everyone got used to what it was. It just became part of your life in the same way where, maybe you've gotten used to, I don't know, having 9 toes rather than 10. You adapted. It's no big deal to you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they were doing with Joe. Well, I want you to take a listen to Harry Etten as they did polling on how the Bidens are viewed. And for somebody who got 81 million votes.
The most of all time.
Most votes ever for a president and can't raise money. Remember, $4 million we had it this week is all he's been able to raise for his presidential library. It's going to take $200 or $300 million, which every other former president has been able to do except for him, $4 million. Take a listen to what Harry Etten said about how the Bidens are viewed.
American people have one message for the Bidens. That is, go away. Go away. I mean, just look at this. Look at Biden's net favorable rating. In January of 2025, it was minus 22 points. Has it gone any better? No, not really. He's still way underwater here at minus 19 points. He's 28 points underwater with independents. Joe Biden ended his term as president, is quite unpopular, and he remains quite unpopular. He is an anchor to the Democratic Party and potentially their fortunes in the 2026 midterm election.
How does that compare to other former Democratic presidents?
Okay, let's go back through the history books. I went back through the spreadsheets, right? This is essentially what we're looking at. Former Democratic presidents' net favorability at this point post-presidency. The lowest by far is Joe Biden, 19 points underwater. Barack Obama was a rock star, 31 points above water. How about Bill Clinton? Wasn't so popular after office, but even then he was just 3 points underwater, basically breaking even. And then Jimmy Carter was 22 points above water. Joe Biden, the most unpopular former Dem president at this point post-presidency of any Democrat that I could find going through the spreadsheets over the last 50 years.
How's Dr. Jill Biden doing?
Okay, so Joe Biden, obviously not Joe Biden, though they are married. Okay, just look at this. Was she a popular first lady? Dem first lady's net favorability at the end of their final term, she was just 2 points above water. Obviously not as bad as Joe Biden is, but Michelle Obama was 43 points above water. Hillary Clinton was 13 points above water. Again, you're just looking at this and you're seeing that Joe Biden was historically unpopular for a Democratic first lady compared to the 2 other Democratic first ladies you see on the screen, which again matches what we see with Joe Biden's unpopularity.
Part of this might just be this recent shift sort of against the idea of establishment. What are we seeing in the prediction markets that might indicate
all right, so that's what we really need from that.
Yeah.
The dude had 81 million votes, right?
Mm-hmm. Most popular of all time. Had to be because he got more votes than anybody else.
Yet he's the most historically unpopular president, and the first lady is historically unpopular as well.
She is easy not to like. When you watch her...
Oh, she's gross. She's just a mean lady.
And you can see it. Like there's the veneer on the front with the smile, whatever. But once you just scratch the surface, you can just tell. When you see her on The View, and I've only seen it in clips because I don't spend a lot of time watching The View, but in the segments you see 5 or 10 minute segments, and you would think, former first lady, most people have no problem with the first lady. They don't make the decisions. They're behind the president. Whether they're popular or not, the first lady, is pretty much untouched. dude, the veneer falls off of her so quickly.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's in the same realm with Kamala Harris. Well, in different directions. You know, Kamala's just cackling and saying weird things and nobody can understand it. That's why Jill just looks like a power hungry and comes off as a power hungry and I'm going to get it for us no matter what. I want to be in charge.
That is why I believe that happened so quickly and why she is so disliked, because she is the one who gets political before any of the other ones do.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Michelle Obama is what she is, but let's face it, Michelle Obama, when they were in office, largely all that stuff stayed off the radar outside of trying to change the meals for kids in schools.
Right.
There wasn't I'm on the campaign trail for my husband. I'm going on The View and talking about, how dangerous the Republicans are. It's like...
Yeah, she was pretty, I want to say agnostic, but kind of. Michelle, I don't remember Michelle ever talking about politics. And maybe she did, and I'm forgetting it.
She stepped in it a few times before she was first lady, where she talked about...
never been proud of America, that kind of stuff.
That's when she had those moments. But again, Jill Biden has been going on television trying to basically launch a political career.
Yeah, that's what
a gross person.
Yeah, right. She's like, I'm gonna step on Joe again and see if I can launch this career. I don't expect that's going anywhere, dude. She's so unlikable. That is not going anywhere. I don't think we have any concern with that. And think about it, dude. She's had nothing but glowing press from the mainstream media. Everything about her is, they never say a bad word. It's the doctor. She's on The View. Oh, yes, you're a doctor. I want Dr. Jill to be Health and Human Services Secretary. So it is constant.
She's a doctor. She's a doctor.
But think about how glowing the coverage is, and yet nobody buys it.
No.
That's the remarkable part.
Thank you, Elon.
For sure, for opening up. Can you imagine, though, now going back, think of if Elon had owned Twitter during the Obama administration. That would have changed all kinds of things, but including the likability of Michelle, I do believe. I think that probably would have changed some things there, too, because people would have been able to talk about and point out that, she didn't care for America and all the things that were, that were there that just never got discussed.
No, they were all stifled.
Yeah.
It was a different media period. We did not have the free ability of social media to get stuff out there.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770 GetHeatCentralHeat.com. When we come back, JFK joins the show. No, you're not hearing me wrong. John F. Kennedy. He is running for lieutenant governor in the state of Georgia. Going to ask for your vote next here on Extra.
Neil Boortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Dio and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella, and we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We're going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
The right partner makes all the difference. For more than 185 years, we've forged personal relationships with our customers and communities, funding economic development and rallying around the causes that are important to our neighbors. With the technology, products, and expertise you'd expect from a big bank and the local decision-making and commitment to community from your neighborhood bank, United Bank Shares is your trusted financial partner for life. Learn more at bankwithunited.com. United Bank Shares, member FDIC.
For a lot of drivers, the question isn't, should I buy a Toyota? It's, where should I buy it? Because the dealership matters long after the paperwork is signed. My good friends at Marietta Toyota, well, they've built their reputation the right way. Trust, consistency, and of course, most importantly, taking care of the neighbors and customers for over 50 years, proudly serving the Marietta area since 1975. You get real selection, straightforward answers, and a team that respects your time. Here's the difference most dealerships don't include. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and supported by a full team here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. It's time for you to visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park. Marietta Toyota. We've been here, and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
Still on the fence about a fence? Hi, this is Jared with Accent Fence. Protect your home, your family, and your pets with a brand new fence from Accent Fence. Whether you want the classic look of wood, the durability of aluminum or steel, or the affordability of chain link, Accent Fence builds it right the first time. And with no money down financing available, your dream fence is more affordable than ever. Read our 5-star customer reviews online and see why so many homeowners trust Accent Fence. For quality, craftsmanship, and dependable service, visit accentfence.net today for your free quote.
Sequoia National Golf Club is located 45 minutes west of Asheville, North Carolina, and nestled among the oak, fir, and flowered valleys in the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains. Owned by the Eastern Band of the Cherokee, this Robert Trent Jones II design offers an idyllic 18-hole journey filled with panoramic vistas on every hole, beautiful landscapes, and a fun mountain golf experience. Enjoy a relaxed lunch or afternoon beverage on the outdoor deck with 180-degree views of the Great Smoky Mountains. The surrounding community also provides golfers a welcoming environment that is rich with Native American culture and exciting year-round attractions. Sequoia National Golf Club is just 4 miles from Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort and just a short drive from Atlanta. Experience a fun afternoon of golf with your friends or stick around for an epic stay-and-play weekend. Experience mountain golf at its finest and then go hit the casino floor. Book your tee time at sequoianational.com. That's sequoianational.com. Experience the majesty and beauty of Sequoia National, mountain golf at its finest.
Stovall & Company Wholesale Landscape Supply has been family-owned and operated for more than 75 years, and we treat you like family, too.
Check us out at StovallInc.com or stop by our new store in Canton, Georgia and see what we have to offer.
At Stovall, we supply all your landscape project needs.
Completely hassle-free, all the way down to the delivery.
Have you been dreaming of an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, or other custom paver project? We partner with Keystone Hardscapes for all your beautiful high-end concrete needs.
We look forward to making your landscape dreams come true. Stovall has it all.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could self-fund.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Friday, June 5th, and here are your headlines. Senate Republicans have advanced President Trump's roughly $70 billion immigration enforcement package after a marathon voting session, sending the measure to the House. The debate exposed divisions within the GOP over a now shelved $2 billion Justice Department fund and other provisions, but party leaders ultimately unified behind the border security plan. Recent rounds of heavy rain have improved drought conditions across much of North Georgia, according to the National Weather Service. Officials say parts of the regions have improved from extreme to severe drought, but they warn conditions could quickly worsen again without consistent rainfall throughout the summer. And finally, the Fulton County Board of Assessors has approved new property tax rates and a new appraisal method for data centers that could add roughly $46 million in revenue. Property owners will begin receiving assessment notices June 16th and will have the opportunity to appeal their valuations. Today's weather is a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 86 and a low of 62. No rain expected over the weekend with a sunny Saturday high of 88 and a Sunday high of 86 with some clouds. Your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10. His website, jfkforgeorgia.com. John Kennedy, running for lieutenant governor, joins the Morning Extra. How you been?
Good morning. Listen, doing great. Glad to be with you guys and get to talk to your visitors and listeners, rather, about our campaign and what we've been doing to be the next lieutenant governor.
Yes, sir. You started out by saying this is the type of race, which you've run, obviously, political races before, that this one more than anything else is about getting out and physically shaking hands and meeting the people where they are.
I really think it is, and I think that's one of the reasons that our campaign is working, not to boast at all. We're humbled and grateful for the results that we had in the primary. It was a 7-way race, as you guys know. We came in first place, but I think a lot of that is we have gone to the four corners of the state and all the borders and everywhere in between, talking to folks about what their concerns are. What do they expect from their government? What do they expect? How can we get state government working better? And as you guys know, I served 11 years in the Senate and had some successes there and want to move on to this position to better serve. But it's folks want to look people in the eye and just old school, and I think this is one of those races that calls for that.
Has there been a variety, depending on where you've been in the state? Because I think it's pretty general. A lot of people talk about wanting their state governments to run efficiently, to take care of with their tax money and where that is going. Has it been any different when you travel, north, south, where part of the state where the concerns of the citizens of Georgia have been different, or they have mostly been alike?
Great question, and it's really some of both. I think there's some universal concerns. What I hear a lot about on the campaign trail is property taxes. Folks need property tax relief. And I think the folks in Georgia are looking for some structural changes in our property tax system. That's probably one of the most prevalent things I hear about, and something I'm real interested in. But depending upon where you go, for example, rural Georgia, where I'm from, the little town of Adrian, Georgia, which is about halfway between Macon and Savannah. It's a town of 800 people. You get out in the rural areas, largely, farming communities, they've got some different concerns. And one is they want the benefits and trying to do all they can to attract business and industry to their areas. And the rural areas don't have the kind of infrastructure that can naturally attract sometimes. And so a lot of it is about economic development, right? Of hey, can you help us get jobs, help us to land some of these businesses that our Georgia Economic Development Department, quite frankly, has done a good job. And I think Brian Kemp has done a great job leading that effort and bringing business and industry into this state. So depending upon where you go in rural areas, talk about that. And something else, especially in South Georgia, there's certain sectors of our ag economy that have been hit really bad. And that's our tree farmers. Between the combination of hurricanes coming through, between 3 large mill closures, and that market in general, in some regards, collapsing, you're talking about some communities that are facing generational losses if we don't figure out ways to help them struggle through this.
John Kennedy is our guest. He's running for lieutenant governor here on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, asking for your vote. I do want to get to property taxes, but as you talked about economic development, and there's the places that are shutting down, mills shutting down, people losing opportunity, not enough, probably Wi-Fi, not enough internet, the infrastructure not being there. Does it ever come up the opposite way? Like, I'm afraid our small rural community is going to turn into something that we don't want it to be. It grows too fast, or it becomes a place that gets crowded and then it loses its rural roots. Does that ever come up? Because that's something that stands out to me as a guy that lives in Alpharetta, and I'm like, oh, please stop building.
Yeah.
Please, whatever you do, please stop building.
Yeah. It does, but you know where it comes up? It comes up in the areas around the metro area where you've got those areas that were traditionally at least had a smaller town feel, and the growth from Metro Atlanta is encapsulating them now in ways that some people aren't real happy about. And I do hear about that as well. And that's why, that's why it's important that those areas, wherever they are, that you elect the right leaders to make those decisions. I personally think that most decisions are best made if made at the local level, right? Because the people that are affected and are by decisions or indecision, they get to choose those local leaders, typically your county commissioners, your planning and zoning boards, your city council, your mayors. Those are the ones that drive in many ways more of the day-to-day decisions that impact what you're talking about. But you get out to the more rural areas outside the state, there's not too much, not too much discussion. It's like, hey, please, we need something. Because we want an environment where our children, not only that they will hope they want to, but we want them to be able to come back here. And if we don't have the jobs and growth on some level, the family may not get to continue in this area.
John F. Kennedy is our guest running for lieutenant governor right here in the state of Georgia on the Morning Extra. Let's talk about those property taxes because I'm somebody who's a resident of Cumming. My property taxes have exploded over the probably last 6 or 7 years. And while I love the idea of changing some of the property taxes or reducing them or anything to that effect, I also recognize that rural Georgia, you don't have a Walmart. So you need property taxes for the schools. Tell me about that balance that you were talking about on the campaign trail of changing some of the property taxes, but at the same time knowing that rural Georgia does need those as well.
Yeah, and so I think it begins with a point where the pain point is for all of us across Georgia is, we're living now with the continued inflationary pressures that Joe Biden put on us for 4 years of his economic policy. So that you start with that. And then when you roll forward and you look at, well, what does that number look like? How much inflation pressure we've had generally compared to how fast property taxes have increased? And the property taxes have increased much higher. I think the stats that I've seen, it's something like 47% over the last 7 or 8 years, where the general inflationary rate is something like in the 20s. So something's a little bit out of balance. Now, some of that may be property values themselves increasing, and all that comes together for that. So I think you kind of begin with that point of they seem to be out of kilter, if you will.
Out of whack.
Out of whack. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
That's what the country folks say.
Yeah. That's what we say down in Adrian, I tell you.
Yes, sir, it is.
But out of whack. And so then the second thing we've got to remember is whatever that structural change looks like, property taxes go to who? They go to the counties, right? And so that's how your counties are run. That's how county services are provided. So we're talking about trying to get solutions and find solutions at the state level, but it's not entirely our decision. And that's why this is a little more complex of an issue than most might think. It's just, well, wait a minute, can't you guys just make a decision to change things? And that's part of it. And then thirdly, to the point you were making, there's some areas where that property tax base is very limited because of not much economic activity going on. And that's a double-edged sword, right? That's your only source for these counties. But in other times, wow, that means the property owners are shouldering the entire cost of the operations of the county itself in some ways. So, yeah, it's multi-layered. I'm going to work on this in 2027. There were some efforts made this past year in 2026. Didn't get it across the finish line, but it's something I'm intent on working with the House and working collaboratively down at the Capitol to find right solutions. And collaboratively means also working with the counties too and making sure that they're made whole as best we can, because they've got to operate, they've got to provide their services.
Yeah. John Kennedy's our guest. He's running for lieutenant governor here on the Morning Extra. You can find him, jfk4georgia.com. jfk4georgia.com is his website. Let's dig a little bit, because this seems to be the biggest issue of all of them. Every office, people running for office in Georgia, everybody that comes in and sits in that seat that you've been in has brought up property taxes. How, as lieutenant governor, do you plan to do, because you talked about some of the things you didn't get across, how do you fix that? How, from the lieutenant governor's office, how do you work with those local municipalities? How do you get those property taxes down? And then what do you say to people that are older, that don't have kids in school, and maybe their kids are in their 40s and 50s, and they're like, I'm tired of paying these higher taxes. I'm done with this.
And you're trending toward one of the best examples of why we've got to get some structural change. There are older couples, especially, that have worked hard for their whole adult life. They finally got a 30-year mortgage paid off, right? And they are now worried about not being able to live out their golden years. They're on a fixed income. They're worried about staying in their home that they worked so hard that is the family home. They fear they can't keep it just because of escalating property taxes. That tells you something's got to be done. Back to your question of how can the lieutenant governor's office, how can I do something? I tell you, I think the House idea that they did not get passed, and because the Democrats would not vote for it, their proposal required a constitutional amendment, which is a 2/3 vote in the House, and the Democrats absolutely shut down on it. But it was, in essence, your homestead plus 5 acres would be not subject to property taxes. And there was, as I understand it, and this was the House's idea, so I can quickly outrun what the details of that and their policy drivers behind why they were wanting to do what they were going to do. But it was replaced by a state sales tax. And so that's one option I think that deserves a lot of talk and a lot of merit. I think it makes sense when you're looking at homesteads to do it in the way they did, your home where you live and then a certain amount of acreage around it. There's other ideas as well, but I think what I can bring to the table, guys, next year as a lieutenant governor, I've got a reputation for reaching across the aisle, for working with everybody in the chamber, for working with the guys in the House. I've got excellent relationships with House leadership and Senate leadership. And, I was privileged to get elected twice. I stood for election to be the president pro tem of the Senate, which is the highest Senate office in Georgia, but it's also the one office that's elected by all 56 senators. I stood for election twice and was elected unanimously. That doesn't happen unless you've got a reputation of the people in that chamber know that they trust you from a standpoint of you're going to be willing to work with them, you're going to be collaborative, and quite frankly, my leadership style is I typically listen first and then I talk last. We're not going to agree with everybody all the time, certainly not the Democrats or liberal-minded folks on where the right landing spot is on this, whatever the issue is. But at the end of the day, folks are going to feel like they've at least been heard, they've been considered, and then we're going to do what's best for Georgia by working together.
John F. Kennedy is our guest running for lieutenant governor right here in the state of Georgia. I wanted to follow up with your experience in the state Senate, because I think because of the amount of money that has been involved in this election, what has gone on in the state of Georgia, in our opinion, from just being on this radio show, everything's been turned into, okay, who's the most conservative, and then who are the insiders and the outsiders? And you talk about the importance of meeting people. I think that that's really the goal, in that it's not a matter of, hey, I'm a politician or I'm not a politician. It's, no, just get to know me and then make a decision from there.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And as we were talking right before we went on, there's kind of an old school folks get to know you, and it's one of those things where the folks that you live, work, pray, and play with know you best. And from that, you get a determination of who you want to trust and who you want to be in leadership, to whether it's a state or whether it's locally at your county. And again, I think that's where I've been blessed to have been entrusted in some positions with that. I think because of not only being able to work with other people, but effectively getting conservative legislation passed, which is what I've done. I mean, last year, guys, the biggest battle down at the Capitol was getting meaningful tort reform passed, which was Brian Kemp's #1 legislative priority for last year of 2025. Well, he asked me to carry those bills, and so I and his executive council worked hard to draft those bills. It was Senate Bill 68 and 69. And for folks that don't know what tort reform is, it's dealing with the issue of abusive lawsuits and our civil justice system being so out of whack that people are afraid if you're a defendant, you're not going to be treated fairly. And it has been the product of why our insurance premiums are going up and have gone up for a number of years. And it's why businesses have left the state. It's why insurance companies have left the state. It's why generationally owned businesses are afraid that they're just one lawsuit away from everything their families work for. And folks are tired of paying excessively high insurance premiums. Well, guess what? We worked hard, and listen, the billboard lawyers, the guys that are up and down the interstate that are begging you to let them sue somebody for you, and they do their work. But the problem we've got is with things being out of balance, insurance companies having to pay excessive rates. Well, who do you think ultimately pays that? Me and you do, right? And the premiums that you and I pay and that all the people that are listening to us pay. So that was the objective. We got meaningful legislation passed, and guess what? Although one of the things that the guys were asking me that were against this, the trial lawyers and billboard lawyers and those folks, they said, well, you can't guarantee that this is going to have any effect, and you're just trying to help the insurance companies. No, I'm trying to help people that are paying premiums, right? And guess what? About 6 weeks ago, State Farm announced a 10% across the board reduction in all automobile insurance rates in the state of Georgia. And why? They said because of tort reform. And I can give you guys more and more examples. So when I talk about wanting to keep Georgia growing and keep a good pro-business environment in this state, I'm willing to roll up my sleeves, get in the ditch, and fight about it to make sure that we're doing what's good for Georgia, that we're going to lower insurance premiums. We're going to keep a good pro-business environment in this state where businesses want to come and stay here. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling on.
No, please. Like I said, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
Yeah. Absolutely. So people can hear it and people want to, because they've got to make their decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, as I say, that's a good example of where real leadership, willing to fight about something that's important, being entrusted by the governor of the state to carry what was his most important legislative priority for 2025. And most businesses will tell you was the greatest threat to them continuing to be able to be in business in Georgia and provide the jobs for the people of Georgia that we want. And that's number one. Number two, guys, is I want to keep Georgia learning. And that just means that we make sure that we support our public school systems. I'm a product of a small town public school system. My little school had 550 kids now. That's K through 12, guys. So we had 30.
Thriving metropolis.
I'm telling you, man. And so, I got to tell you, I think the tomorrow that high school graduates are facing is a lot more complicated than my tomorrow was way back when I graduated from high school. We got to make sure they're prepared, that they're ready for that tomorrow. And that means we got to continue supporting our public school systems. Now, on that point is something I'm passionate about that came on my radar screen is a hidden crisis in our public school system, and it's chronic absenteeism. That is defined by kids missing more than 10% of their school days, which in Georgia is 18 days a year. Guys, we've got a serious problem with chronic absenteeism. I learned about this by reading a newspaper article in another state talking about chronic absenteeism was critical. I came back here and asked the staff of the Capitol, I said, do we have a problem in Georgia? They said, well, let's look at it. Well, they did. They said, sir, we got a big problem. I said, why is nobody talking about this? I'm not an educator. I'm just a lawyer. I've never been a principal, never been a teacher. But I know that if they're not in the seat, I can tell you what their future is, right? And these are our Georgia kids that we want to be educated to have the Georgia dream and the American dream. So long story short, I sent my guys off to seminars. We educated ourselves on chronic absenteeism, authored, passed a bill, Senate Bill 123, came out of the Senate unanimously. I think it was 179-1 out of the House. The governor signed the bill, and it's working to seek to address this issue. And it's another example, guys, of when I go down to the Capitol and when I'm doing what I do at home or wherever, when I see things that we can improve in Georgia, don't just expect somebody else to do it because it's not in my area or it's not in my area of expertise. We need folks with that kind of servant approach and servant's heart. And so, I'm sorry, that's just an example.
No, yes.
And then one other thing, if I could, guys, tell you, and that is that, it's the third, we got to keep Georgia safe.
Amen to that.
We've got to keep Georgia safe, and that means supporting our law enforcement. We've got great sheriffs all over the state and great law enforcement. But guys, y'all will remember it wasn't that long ago we had people elected in the city of Atlanta that were calling on defunding the police.
I recall well.
So don't think my pitch is, I remind people, don't think the crazy California talk about defunding the police can't come to Georgia.
Or don't think it went away.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it's not gone.
They've just put it in the back burner, but it's still here.
Exactly. And so we've got to make sure that our law enforcement who go into the breaches of the most difficult times when we want our family protected, they've got to know we've got their back. And as the next lieutenant governor, there won't be any question with regard to that. And I'll make sure they're properly resourced and funded because they do run into the most difficult circumstances on our behalf. And at the end of the day, law and order is just part of the social fabric of having a good community and a successful state. We got to have it.
Yes, no doubt about it. Quickly, last thought, as I know we're up on time, but you hear about, because you talked about schools, college versus trade, and then you talk about business. We're in a place where I feel like we've given away tax breaks to big, huge businesses, and the small businesses suffer. How do you balance all of that? Data centers, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but all of those things are things that people are genuinely concerned about and call our show and ask about.
Yeah, I think it's first of all, for me, I'm a bit of a challenge junkie. I like problem solving. I see a problem, I want to fix it. And you're right, we've got a lot of challenges in Georgia, but at the same time, let me say this. our future is so incredibly bright in this state. We've got the best people. It continues to be the place where businesses want to come and relocate. But key to making sure that we've got a good, progressive, successful path for progress, rather, going forward, is the kids have got to be educated for that tomorrow. And you're right. We finally learned and woken up several years ago that we ought not to have the structure so that expecting every kid needs to or has to go to college, because a lot of kids don't want to go. They want to go into the trades and what used to be called the trade schools, the vocationals. And so we have devoted resources, especially over the last decade, to get kids to have those options available to them. You know what? That's good for them because not all want to go elsewhere, but it's also keeping up with the market of what we need to have prepared, a ready, willing, prepared, able workforce in this state.
No doubt about it. John F. Kennedy is running for lieutenant governor. He's asking for your vote. You can learn more about him at jfkforgeorgia.com, jfkforgeorgia.com. We wish you nothing but success. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk to our listeners.
You guys are great. Thanks. I love the show, and I promise you I'll come back not only while I'm campaigning, if you'll have me, but after I'm elected, hopefully. I promise you I'll come back and visit with you then. Thanks.
You're always welcome. Yes, sir. Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, it should be over for Graham Plattner up in Maine. Now that we know all the things that we know, including what came out in the New York Times, a leftist newspaper, they're even pointing out the craziness. Next on Xtra.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, June 5th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the final game of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays last night. 7-2, the final tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates come to town to open up a 3-game series. It'll be Martin Perez on the mound. He'll be opposed by Mitch Keller. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Stanley Cup Finals now tied at 1 as the Carolina Hurricanes got a 4-3 overtime victory last night over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Game 3 from Las Vegas will be on Saturday night. And for the NBA Finals tonight, the New York Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs 1-0. Tip-off from San Antonio tonight is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Special Olympics Georgia is teaming up with Dunkin' Donuts for Cops at Donut Shops on Friday, June 5th from 6 to 10 a.m. Join us for the torch run and then some treats with our heroes on the streets. We'll help raise money and awareness for Special Olympics Georgia athletes. Donate at participating Dunkin' Donuts June 5th or at SpecialOlympicsGA.org.
Hey, this is Lowe's with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com. Congressman Tim Burchett joins us right here on the Morning Xtra.
I said this many times, it's not about flying saucers. It's not about little green men. It's about where the heck of the tens of millions of dollars are going. And if they don't exist, then why are they spending all this money?
The Morning Xtra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug and Los on Xtra 106.3. Want to give you a heads up about something that's happening. Super cool. Until 10 this morning, you can get yourself something to eat, a cup of coffee, and say hello to law enforcement on site at Dunkin'. Until 10 this morning, local law enforcement raising awareness for the Guardians of the Flame initiative and collecting donations for Special Olympics Georgia. Thanks to Dunkin' and law enforcement partners for supporting these incredible athletes. Like I said, they will be out at Dunkin' until 10 this morning. Tug and Los on Xtra 106.3. Dude, it should be over for Graham Plattner. There's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to talk about. This is a done deal. It's funny, if you look at all the things that they've said about Donald Trump and so-called MAGA Republicans, everything they say about them is embodied in Graham Plattner. They, say that we're awful, and yet they're backing Graham Plattner. At least a portion of the Democrat Party is still in there supporting, and there's people that are peeling off, and of course they are, because it's insanity.
It's all played out so perfectly from Monday, starting one of our hours talking about how everything they call us, that's Graham Plattner, and that's long before this New York Times article, which, let's face it, this article is supposed to basically tell you that he's a good and a bad boyfriend. He's a weirdo.
Yep.
He's got his proclivities. And one of them, as you read through it, and this is by far my favorite line in this entire thing, because he's talking about, how he has a warrior ethos, that, he's a soldier, and that, if you try to take something from him, he's going to take something from you. And this is what was talked about from one of his former girlfriends. It says, he said this a lot. This is a quote. "If anybody ever broke in here, I would rape them," she recalled, saying that he added that it would not be a sexual way, not in a gay way. He was like, "I would rape them to show them that I'm dominant."
Okay, isn't that what Hamas says they do? Isn't that what they do? That's a thing.
But his entire point was, in order to show that he is the alpha, that he's going to rape you. I get, Hamas looks to rape women, and they're looking to spread their seed, just be disgusting, evil people. Graham Plattner is talking about, in order to show his dominance in the house, he has to rape you.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think terrorists do that too. I think that's where that comes from. But regardless, it's weird, it's gross. It should be enough for the Democrats to just throw up their hands and go, "Yeah, we're not. We need to find somebody else." And it leaves us pulling for someone that just voted against the SAVE Act and Susan Collins. It's the weirdest dynamic. It's an odd spot to be. But here we are. We found it. And last night, I think I read last night that they passed the Ukraine aid bill up to $9 billion. 18 Republicans joined the Democrats in the House to do this. And yet, they had an opportunity to get the SAVE Act pushed through, and they didn't. And 4 senators, including Susan Collins, said, "No, we're not doing that." So the things we want, they don't pass. The things that we don't want, they do. And it's all on the shoulders of Susan Collins, who we now have to pull for, or we'll get this crazy man, communist guy.
Do you recall, I don't know if you ever saw the bit, Dave Chappelle does a bit when he talks about he's pitching a superhero story.
Vaguely, refresh my memory.
So his pitch for the superhero story is that he has a guy that flies in and he saves, but his power is drawn from rape.
Oh,
so he
I don't remember that one.
But he rapes.
Okay.
So he does that, and then he goes, an hour later, he starts talking about Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
About the amount of kids his foundation and his work put into college and gave them a life.
But
all
the things that we know Bill Cosby did.
But he rapes.
Yeah.
so that's the whole bit. Well, it's funny that Graham Plattner is now playing.
He's
out
the embodiment.
Yeah, listen, no, but I know he said these things, and I know he's talked about masturbating in porta potties, and I know he's done all, but he can save the seat in Maine for us.
Well, that's exactly what the ladies on The View said. They went through, as Sonny Hostins went through all the things. Is he anti-Semitic? Yes. Is he a racist? Yes. Is he, whatever. But that seat's real important. She was willing to look over all that stuff. These are the people that have been calling Donald Trump a Nazi and his supported Nazi for years. And there's no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And yet they're willing to look over this.
If you break into Tug's house, he's going to shoot you.
Yes.
Fairly certain he's not going to then rape you.
No, I'm not. No. I might even call the ambulance to come get you after you shot up.
Now I got to show you how dominant I am.
This is so weird. The Democrats can never call Trump a Nazi again. This is the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Conspiracy theories. Hey, I'm no stranger to conspiracy theories. I'm the guy on the radio that said dolphins had swum up the torpedo tubes of a nuclear submarine and they were going to nuke Los Angeles. But I followed that radio show with 2 words: April Fools. But the conspiracy theories today are just ridiculous. Who are the idiots that buy into these things? First and foremost, the earth is flat. No, seriously. If you're on Facebook, look up some of the flat earth Facebook pages. The earth is flat. It's surrounded by a wall of ice and covered by a dome. The sun is only 4,000 miles away. How do they know this? It's all in the Bible. The firmament in the Bible is actually that glass dome over the flat earth. We call them flurfs. Here's a new one. That teacher from New England that died in the Challenger disaster, she's not dead. She's now a professor in a law school up there in New England. The whole Challenger thing was faked. How do we know? Because the earth is flat. That's how we know. Those condensation trails that jet airliners leave, those are chemtrails. They're chemicals that the government is putting in the air to poison us and control us. There was never a moon landing. It was faked. All of the pictures of Earth taken from space, they're fake. Try this one. Birds aren't real. They're actually small drones being operated by the government to keep an eye on us. No, not kidding. The trouble with these things is that people actually believe them. And if they will believe those, they'll believe slanderous lies like Alex Jones and school shootings. And 9/11 was an inside job. Come on, folks, do some homework. Don't let idiots with internet connections steer you into this insanity. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Streaming across Georgia on the Xtra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Xtra 106.3.
Is more. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the story in the jobs report just out this morning.
172,000 non-farm payrolls were added to the economy in May. The estimate was 85,000.
So how is double the hiring than forecast last month less? Fox Business Network Cheryl Cassoni also reports.
April has been revised to 179,000. The original April read was 115, and they're also revising March to 214,000 jobs.
The unemployment rate for May did not change, still 4.3%. They stayed up all night in the Senate approving a controversial funding bill just before 5 o'clock this morning.
The 52-47 vote followed a marathon series of motions and amendments to change it over the course of 18 hours. Senators approved the legislation to fund Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Patrol for the next 3 years.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. No Democrats voted for the funding. They call ICE out of control and demand immigration enforcement reform, but it was approved using a process they could not filibuster and block. The Republican-led House considers it next. A bill Democrats pushed in the House passed when 18 Republicans joined them, approving new aid for Ukraine, but President Trump's threatened a veto. As Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky writes a letter to Russian leader Vladimir Putin trying to end their war.
Writing in part, I am proposing a meeting. If you do not personally come to the conclusion that it is time to end this war, Ukraine will continue fighting for its existence. We will have those who support us. The president who hosted Putin in Alaska last year to talk about this war is also now talking about this latest letter.
I think it would be great if they met. They should get it done.
And the Russians now say in some bulletins that are crossing that Putin has been briefed about the letter. We don't know if he wants to meet.
That's Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea. We were meant to live free to pursue our future, work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from pain. I tried everything and anything to help me get rid of my pain, and nothing freed me. It just masked the pain, and the side effects diminished my quality of life. I'm sure you have been there if you have real bad pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that is designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. And it is not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor. It was created for people to get back to living their life on their terms. Is that you? Walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter? This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take your stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today. $19.95, 3-week quick start. Ready for you right now. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Thank God it's Friday. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Indeed, thank God it is Friday. Because coming off the short week, you get back into a regular week, and boy, I'm telling you, this back half has felt like molasses in December.
You need to be invested in a series. That's really what you need.
Well,
because if you've got every 100%. Other day, the weeks, like everything's been flying by for me for like the last month. And yeah, it's been crazy busy, but once you're invested in a series, man.
I just don't know where I'd put it, man. I really don't. I know it sounds crazy, but like most of my days are down to the minute. I know where I'm going to be and what I'm doing down to the minute, which is overscheduling. I know. I get that, and it is, but it's terrible. Sometimes it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And like when I get home, I know exactly to the minute where I need to be, what I need to be doing, and that leads me up to about 7:30, and then by about 8:30, I'm ready to fall over dead, which is not a great way to live.
Does this mean that Goodfellas and Good Old Days is out today?
No. Actually, I was thinking that today would be the perfect day for Goodfellas or Good Old Days.
Because I have to run the little one over to A5.
Okay.
And she, like I said, she has a camp that starts at 9, but we won't be there for that. And so we'll be there just a little bit after that. And then I got to come back north to hang out because I'm not going to sit around there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So, hey.
So
what's up?
Like, what's the target time you're thinking on that?
I don't know. Like, should we shoot for 11?
I don't think I can get. Well,
I can't
maybe.
make 11.
You can
around here a little bit.
You got okay. What could we do? 11:30.
11:30.
I'll show up late. Y'all go. I'll go early.
I think I can make 11:30 work.
Let's do 11:30.
All right, I'm writing it down on my.
Oh, the good times are ready to roll.
Dude, let the good times roll.
I'm working Victor's show after this, so which
got it.
On YouTube,
you got to help him record. Yep. His podcast. Such a great dude. So yeah, you just join this few minutes. That'll be fine.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
I was going to go golf today, but I'd rather drink with the fellas.
See,
right, there we go.
I love the way this has already started. I love the fact that we're rolling into Friday. Is usually the one day of the week that because my Charleston show is done. Like it's already done for today.
Yeah.
And so I don't have anything. Like Friday evening, no, most of the time I don't have anything to do on a Friday evening. Saturday can get sideways a little bit, but it's usually okay. Sunday is just a disaster. After church, it is work until it's time to go to bed. But Friday, now you know why I love Friday so much.
I'm going to get a pack of Cools.
Yes, you will.
That's
and
what we're going to do.
Zen. We're going to get Zen and Cools and cold beers and liquor drinks. It's going to be great. God,
yes.
I love it.
That's what we're going to do.
So
By the
much
way,
to look forward to.
Have you seen yet, and I didn't see it until this morning, the ad for Madden 27?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it features Vince Vaughn. It's like a 4-minute long promo commercial video where he has made himself the coach and general manager of the Chicago Bears.
I like it already.
And it's so, like he's taking phone calls from different athletes and trying to sign deals, and he's basically playing, that fast-talking Vince Vaughn character.
Yeah.
He's playing that perfect character. It's a lot of fun.
I got to check that out because I love Vince Vaughn. I think he's so underrated, and he's kind of... he's lost a little bit of luster in Hollywood. He doesn't pop up nearly as much as he used to, but this is perfect for him. This is so good. I love his brand of comedy, man.
He has a daughter who plays volleyball, and he was at one of the tournaments.
I remember you telling me this, yeah.
And he was the nicest, coolest guy to every other dad out there. Any kind of pictures, and he wanted to talk about volleyball. He ended up watching, at the time, I think it was our 13 or 14-year-old team when we won the national championship. He decided to sit in the stands and watch that match during that time. And also, and again, because I'm not giving anything away, it's 4 minutes, but he does issue the line, Tug, there's no I in team, but there is one in Vince.
That's great. That's so good. Dude, Vince Vaughn, one of my absolute favorites. God, I love him to death. That is so good. And
I do love it. It's just long, and it's very visual. And that's the only reason I don't think we should jump into it. Because it's like he's getting a phone call from, like, Tom Brady, or he's talking with Caleb Williams on the phone. There's so much of it that's visual. I don't know if it would really translate for us.
Yeah.
But it's Vince Vaughn being Vince Vaughn, man. It's cool.
Do you buy the Madden still?
I did not last year.
Okay.
In fact, I didn't even buy NCAA. I bought NCAA when it came out, when it hadn't been out for like a decade.
Yep.
Played it. It got to where I thought it was just too easy, and then I didn't do it this next year. Yeah, but if they refine some of the gameplay, I'll buy it again.
That's the thing. I can't figure out how they make it that much different that you would want to buy it every year. You know what I mean? Like what?
It's just small updates, small improvements.
But that's my point, right? Is like you're gonna pay
small improvements that overall make the game better.
But you're gonna pay $100 because you can whatever the small. Give me an example.
It is different in Madden in terms of because you've had a game that's been out for 40 years. What's different is NCAA went away for 12 years.
Yep.
So when it came out, this now has been the second year of the next version, and so you expect bigger jumps in terms of what's been added or what they've refined from year to year. And so that's where they change like storylines to games and they add different features and stuff like that. And some of it's a little bit ridiculous. But again, that's why they have you end up buying the next version to be like, okay, I want all the new rookies in the league that are here, and I want the new feature that they've added to negotiating contracts.
Yeah, I just
I buy the new 2K every year.
Which is basketball. Yeah. Do you buy MLB too?
This is the first year in I think 4 years I have not bought.
Is it MLB The Show?
Yeah,
I've had to buy that.
I didn't buy it this year either,
but
I've heard great things.
I've played it every year for probably a decade. This was the first year, but a lot of it was we were moving, and then like the next year when it came around, we hadn't finished the basement yet or anything else, and I was like, I'm not going to go down there and play the game when there's no walls. Now I got walls. Now I might consider this.
It's one of those games you kind of have to grind a little bit and just don't really have the time for it.
All right, I'm going to take your word because I can't see, and I've done it. I've done it physically because my son plays those games all three that you're talking about. But every year when I'm shelling out like what is $100, and I'm like, can it be that much different?
If you get the high end editions, the regular ones are still $60, I believe.
Okay, so $60, and if you're going to play it a bunch, and it's totally worth it. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I'm just always curious, like how much different can it be year to year to require another $60 payment? You know what I mean?
See, I got the first NCAA college game, and I had a dynasty, and I had to give up because I didn't know how to recruit, so I lost all of my players.
Plus, they didn't know how to recruit.
No. Well, that happens.
The Kennesaw State Owls did not survive.
I created my own alma mater that does play football at the NAIA level, but I built them into I redid all their jerseys. I built them from a cupcake to a national champion, but it got to the point where it was so easy that it was a very exploitable game. And so I'm hoping that this next one that comes out, which will be the third version of it, that the defense is significantly better. And if it is, all right, we're ready to go.
They added the tush push to Madden this year.
Yeah, they did. They did add that.
I thought people were wanting to get rid of that. Why?
Exactly.
So that's that's just fuel to the fire, adds to the conversation. That actually is smart.
Vince Vaughn does make an Eagles joke with that. He talks about being a strategist, and he says something along the lines of, I just don't run the same play every single time, but I do, and it's the tush push.
That's so great, and I could totally see him delivering that. And
it's such a good line.
It's so good. I just got a note from our friend Ron Goodbub over at Representative McCormick's office, and he said, I'm really in need of some yard signage.
One of my neighbors didn't ever ask me for anything, but we both would like a Tug and Los for Mornings yard sign. Dude, the mystery, it's all growing, and Ron has spread it, and so we did get like an example of what you thank you.
Yeah, we got the mock sent back to us, and so we know what it's going to look like when it hits the printer.
Yes, dude. So I'm thinking we may get more requests than we might otherwise have thought, because in the beginning it was like, we'll just get a few because we don't expect people to really ask for them. I've already had a request for 2, and the show's not even over yet. This is great, man.
It's going to be hilarious.
He said, Ron says, I'll even come down to the station to pick it up. All my neighbors can't be wrong. So, dude, we're about to fill up a neighborhood with Tug and Los for Mornings on Extra 106.3. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
I kept on trying to tell them, like, this is a great marketing campaign, and we need to win mornings. And sure enough, okay, we got this going.
And every 2 years, dude, we can bring it back every 2 years.
You just put it away, and then you put it back out there.
Absolutely. We may need to update it a little bit to make sure it goes well with the new, I don't know, the new graphics that are used or the new themes that are used. But I think we're on to something.
Could update it every presidential.
Yeah, maybe. Or dude, with AI, you update it every 30 seconds if you want to. But getting them printed, obviously, that makes it a little bit.
We can get Velcro and you have to pick up your new Velcro piece.
Yeah, that's right.
Here, add Tug's face.
That's right, exactly. Add Los's thumbs up, or whatever. Like here, it'd be so great.
Well, look at the S-eating grin on them this year.
Yeah,
all right.
I love it. Dude, that's awesome. Love Ron.
New addition this year, a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, that's right. You get accessories for your Tug and Los for Mornings yard sign. Accessories. I love it. And we
are the Mr. Potato Head of,
that's right.
of campaigns.
Like, maybe we'll get us on the app. You can, pay 99 cents for your extra additional accessories. Of course, we'd never charge you for anything. We don't charge you for anything. That was just a joke. So make sure that you're ready. And now Steve Barcinko, Rustic's Manor. He said we need 100. So we've got requests this morning.
That's 102 so far?
That's 102, yes. What were you saying, Los?
I'm just saying it's going to take off. It's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely will. And Steve Barcinko is the guy that runs Back Our Blue in America, too. It was a huge, huge event, and we had so much fun. He does so much good work for the community up there in Woodstock, Holly Springs. Just a good fellow. We're surrounded by good folks here at Extra 106.3, and we're certainly grateful, including the Atlanta Braves. I don't leave them out. Tough night last night, 7-3 loss, but, they took the series. They welcomed Pirates into town. But June means the American Red Cross and the Atlanta Braves are doing the All-American Blood Drive presented by Delta, back for the 18th season. Giving blood scores you a pair of tickets to an upcoming Braves game, a commemorative T-shirt, and a Delta Stadium bag while supplies last. Plus, you can become a Power Red donor on site for additional specialty gifts. And Los and I are going to be Power Red donors because we both have O-neg. I think that's what's going to push us over the edge to get the additional specialty gifts. Who doesn't want the additional specialty gifts? I mean, there's a reason that they dangle that carrot in front of you.
I mean, I'm going to walk in and tell them, I'm O-negative. Take care of me.
Yeah, that's right. Do me right.
Shower me with all of your gifts and prizes.
Yeah. Can I get that Hank Aaron bat? The one that he hit the actual game, the tie, the home run record breaking bat. Can I have that too? Can you put that in my Delta satchel? Whatever it is. I love it. Get a list of stops, times, and location 680thefan.com/blood drive. That is the easy way to do it. So we'll continue now with all the craziness that is going on. I want you to hear why they can no longer call Trump a Nazi. I think you have a good idea, but I want you to hear it from a perspective you may not yet. Let's get to the first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, Man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
Get away, nonsense.
Put a boot in your ass,
on out of
courtesy of the Morning
We got no time for this nonsense, but we see it every day and we talk about it every day. So we try to diffuse some of it every day and give you a common sense perspective on the things that are happening around the country. And, Maine, of all places, Maine is a hotbed of politics this leading up to the November election. And I want you to hear from someone that has a point of view that I don't have and Los don't have, but she has the same ideas. Remember when we told you that you can't call Trump a Nazi anymore? Now Batya Ungar-Sargon is saying it too, and she's correct. They can't play this card anymore to support a man with a Nazi tattoo. I've heard them say that the seat's too important to give up. We've heard that. I've heard, there can't be a purity test. That's what I saw last night. Purity test.
Is that what they're calling it?
Yes. You can't make sure that they're as clean as the wind-driven snow. Well, how about you can't be a Nazi or you can't be a pedophile because we know about the Kick app. What about the sexual assault that's being discussed in the New York Times? Those seem to be pretty high bar, to pass. Just not be one of those things. I want you to hear from Batya. Listen.
My grandfather's whole family was murdered in the Sobibor concentration camp. Graham Plattner doesn't just have a Nazi tattoo. For 18 years, he had a tattoo of the concentration camp guards on his chest, and he knew what it was. He knew what it was. And to hear people compare that to anything else in the public sphere in America is insane, and it is insanely offensive. These people who are defending him called me and every other MAGA person a Nazi for 10 years because we voted for someone who we thought would improve the lives of working class Americans. And now they are lining up and defending a guy who had a Nazi tattoo, which he knew about, for 18 years. It is so insane to act like anything Donald Trump did was anywhere close to having a Totenkopf on his chest for 18 years. This guy is a Nazi, and Democrats are lining up behind him because they think he can win.
Batya's new book is out this week.
They think he can win. She pivots away. Oh, the new book. It's a new book. Pay no mind. I'm sorry that our listeners had to hear that because their listeners are mostly Democrats. And this woman's coming from a personal family connection. She talked about her grandfather. And that's unbelievable that we're even having this discussion, Los.
To think that you've had that sort of tattoo, and I think we've been pretty consistent about it. We've talked about it for months. To know that man had it, not just on he got it when he was in the military, and then a year later, a few months later, he found out what it was.
Oh my! What is this?
He had it for 18 years. He knew exactly what it was. He told his girlfriends it was my Totenkopf.
Yeah, he said that, and it's not.
And by the way, the Totenkopf specifically is a Nazi symbol that was worn in the concentration camps. If you said it's my skull and crossbones, it's my skull and crossbones tattoo. No, a Totenkopf is specific.
It's distinct, no doubt. And yet they are still backing him up. And the crazy thing is that the New York Times is the one that's telling you this. That's the paper of record. When the Democrats need to drop something, that's who they go to. So there's a little bit of me that wonders if this is not the Democrat Party going, okay, we're going to put an end to this like we did Swalwell. This is how we ease into it, because the New York Times is not publishing anything that is going to be damaging to the Democrat Party without their permission.
Specifically, though, the victims or the people that were involved with him,
the ladies,
have been talking about how they softened everything up.
Yeah, but while they did, it is still out there that he knew that it was a Nazi tattoo, that he did sexually assault them, allegedly sexually assault them, and that he had the weird, I'm going to rape men who come into the house if they break in.
If you break in, I'm going to be dominant.
Whatever that is all about.
Not in a gay way. That's what he told us.
Definitely not, right? But that's the thing. They softened it, yes, but the damaging information was in there. And that, I don't think that's by coincidence. I don't think that's by chance.
I don't think this is as much from the New York Times. I don't think it's so much as a kill shot as a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it could be. Okay.
I think they're looking to get something out there, soften it up, and then go, maybe he can survive this. But I don't believe that. I've been pretty consistent all week, even before this stuff. I don't believe he survives another week or two in this campaign.
I don't think so either. When we come back, Scott Bessent, much like Marco Rubio, do not fool around with Scott Bessent because he will hit you with the kill shot. Dude, he's my favorite person in the entire administration. I love him. He's my favorite. We'll talk about him next on Xtra 106.3.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Xtra 106.3 and crystal clear digital with the all-new Xtra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Xtra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
You hear me talk about it all the time. Carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind, central heating and air conditioning, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share. And now we're doing, again, Christmas in July. Chuck and his team, they are bringing back 6th annual Christmas in July, benefiting Skyland Trail here in Atlanta. And that is to support mental health treatment and recovery. Now through July, when you sign up for a maintenance agreement, Central donates $10 of your bill to the good folks at Skyland Trail. Went over there last summer. Unbelievable facilities, and you see people being healed, whatever the length of time it is that it takes, whatever time they need to be taken care of. It's so positive. Look them up. I encourage you to look them up. That way you know what your money's going to. It's a smart move for you, too, because you get priority service, seasonal tune-ups, which will prevent breakdowns, especially when you need your system the most. When it gets Georgia hot, which is coming, you don't want your AC going down. So Central, they service all makes and models. Call them at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com today.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So you got into an argument. Things got heated. Then a fight broke out, and it landed you in jail. Now what? You need A Second Chance Bail Bonds. They can get you or your loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a few hours. So make the right call. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Summer is here, and hopefully vacation is on the horizon. Whether the beach or maybe you're more of a mountain person, you've planned and saved in order to take some much-needed time off. You planned your vacation. Shouldn't you plan your retirement? You planned for a week in the sun, but have you planned for decades of golden years? Master Plan Retirement works with you to create a holistic, comprehensive retirement plan in order to offer the one thing your time off needs the most: peace of mind. From income and growth, tax strategy, legacy planning, and more, Master Plan Retirement walks alongside you to help ensure your golden years stay golden. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Visit masterplanretire.com. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Your yard. It stresses you out. Between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, it's pet friendly, and it looks amazing all year round. Those in the know use ATL Turf Go. ATL Turf Go is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a backyard of your dreams with a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen or pool deck.
They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. They handle everything from design and grading to construction and drainage solutions. So whether it's residential lawns or recreational sports fields, ATL Turf Co. can build you a stress-free space you'll love. So say goodbye to mowing, maintenance, and your wasted weekends. Learn more and schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call ATL Turf Co. 678-403-2339. That's 678-403-2339. Or visit atlturfco.com.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given was the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Friday, June 5th, and here are your headlines. Senate Republicans have advanced President Trump's roughly $70 billion immigration enforcement package after a marathon voting session, sending the measure to the House. The debate exposed divisions within the GOP over a now shelved $2 billion Justice Department fund and other provisions. The party leaders ultimately unified behind the border security plan. Recent rounds of heavy rain have improved drought conditions across much of North Georgia, according to the National Weather Service. Officials say parts of the region have improved from extreme to severe drought conditions, but they warn that these conditions could quickly worsen again without consistent rainfall throughout the summer months. And finally, the Fulton County Board of Assessors has approved new property tax rates, the new appraisal method for data centers that could add roughly $46 million in revenue. Property owners will begin receiving assessment notices on June 16th. Will have the opportunity to appeal their valuations. Today's weather is a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 86 and a low of 62. No rain is expected over the weekend with a sunny Saturday high of 88 and a Sunday high of 86 with some clouds. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. During the break, I watched a little clip of a video from a TV show called Calabasas Confidential on Netflix. Have y'all heard of this?
No.
I haven't either until just now, and it was just a piece that was shared on social media. Bret Michaels' daughter, Rain, is on this TV show. Bret Michaels, of course, the singer for Poison. We don't run from our love of Poison music. Nothing but a good time and Fallen Angel and Unskinny Bop and Every Rose Has Its Thorn. I mean, there's so many of them.
I just need something to believe in.
That's right. Oh, that's it, man. I just need something to believe in. Yeah. You take the high road, and I'll take the low road. We know all the words, man. You can't throw a curve at us. We know. Rain was on this show, and she told a funny story about what it was like growing up with a rock star dad. And I would imagine it was crazy, especially during the 80s, man. The Poison was, dude, they were the top of the world for, several years, probably a decade. And then now we're back on top of the world again because, people go and see them at the nostalgia shows, whether at Truist Park, like they played with Def Leppard, Journey, and it's great. But she said, growing up with a rock star dad, the thing that she saw that most people probably didn't was she saw more boobs than anybody else. And I know what she's talking about. Now, I had my first experience was like that when I was 13 and I went and saw Motley Crue. Mom and Daddy dropped me off at UTC Arena. They went and had all-you-can-eat salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden and waited on me.
But that was the takeaway. Yes, I loved all the songs. That was fantastic. But I couldn't believe how many, boobs I saw. It was just early on of having huge screens in the concert venue. Now that's every day where they have huge screens. So if you're if you're on the lawn somewhere, you can still see the show. And so she said that was the craziest thing. And she had a friend that came along with her occasionally. And the very first few shows they went to, she thought these women had deformed boobs because both her mom and Rain's mother, Brett Michaels' wife at the time, had fake boobs, and all the others looked normal. She was like, "Why are their boobs so weird?" Because she'd only seen fake ones as a kid. Dude, what a weird conversation.
That is a different upbringing.
Dude, that's what she said. Her name is Rain. She was like, that was the thing about growing up with a rock star dad, is I didn't know what actual normal boobs look like.
It's a funny story.
Dude, it's crazy. It almost makes me want to go on Netflix and watch the rest of it now. Just how insanely nutty that it must have been in the late 80s, and early 90s when Poison was just in their heyday, doing something to believe in, and Fallen Angel and whatever else. But
here they are. I'm seeing pictures of her with her dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, right. I'm blown away by all that because to be honest, that's never crossed my mind. Even having kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was so wide open and crazy. The fact that he has children is I
got to get to the bottom of this.
Which part?
I've just never known. I've never known what his personal life is like. I've always just know it's like there's Brett Michaels, rock star.
Yeah, that's right. Does he have other kids? I don't know.
Because I just remember the last time I had any interaction with that was when they had Rock of Love.
Yeah, right. When he was on the tour bus all the time.
Yeah.
And that was his, he would have, was that like a dating show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And yeah. Oh, God. Brett Michaels, the dating show, Rock of Love. Boy, that is prime early 2000s TV, isn't it?
Let's see. Filming Brett Michaels' Life as I Know It. He proposed to Christy Lynn Gibson, his on-again, off-again companion of 16 years. Let's see. Man, it's just extensive. It's like trying to find out what his personal life is not exactly the easiest thing.
Just because her name, when I just did a search for her name, a story that came out 2 days ago on the 3rd, Brett Michaels is supportive of daughter Rain's brilliant decision to follow her dreams of selling feet pics. His daughter's 26, a model, discussed her future while shooting hoops, and that I guess she makes a grip of money selling feet pics.
He has two daughters, and one of them is selling feet pics, and that's going well.
So weird.
I'm telling you, I heard about this from who was it that told us about this? About you could sell. Well, your
just
feet.
The fact that it happened. Yeah. Was it Bryce? Did you? No, somebody told us. Yeah.
No, it was one of our former social media people.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yep, you're right. Because we used to joke with her about have you ever
selling feet pics.
You ever considered that? This is something that's hit your radar screen. It's just
she knew the website.
Yeah, she knew exactly where to go. Absolutely nutso and funny at the exact same time.
You have to have a following in order to do it.
You think?
No, I was talking to somebody about it because they looked it up, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to have a following in order to be able to sell."
Okay. But I mean that makes sense, but it just makes me wonder though, if you're that gross, if that's something that you're I just want to look at somebody's feet. If you're that gross, it seems like you would probably just go anywhere. And
this is why Redhead Libertarian, whenever she posts any picture and her feet are involved, she stars them out.
It's like some people will blur out. Some people blur out their kid's face. She blurs her feet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's nuts. That's where we are in the world where the people are that nuts. Oh, my heavens.
I don't know how people can.
No, it's weird, man. It's weird. It's weird. People like that go to events ending in con. There's no question in my mind. They do. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. Dude, you cannot mess with Scott Bessent. He is a viper. He will come at you like nobody's business. And he gets it natural. It seems like Trump has surrounded himself with people like that because we kind of highlighted it yesterday with Marco Rubio. But telling you want to talk about being prepared. Scott Bessent is always prepared, Los.
This is what he decided to do as he was testifying to basically, Treasury's role in a lot of different issues that are going on around the country. And he ended up getting matched up with Senator Judy Chu. Now, Scott Bessent is going to do something that is, this is low down. Like, what you'll do at times, and this is an easy way to win debates, is you ask the person you're debating a question that is supposedly an easy one. And when they don't know it, it hurts the rest of their discussion. So if I was to be like, Tug, what's today? And you're like, it's Friday.
Friday the 5th.
Okay, well, if you were like, it's Tuesday, I'd be like, well, actually, it's Friday. And then I would continue my point. And that's going to put you in a bad place.
Well, yeah, because you don't even know what day it is.
Well,
How can I trust what else he's saying?
Take a listen to what he does to Judy Chu yesterday.
Recently, President Trump proudly claimed that he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation when it comes to the war with Iran. So I want to ask you, Secretary Bessent, do you agree with President Trump that you also do not care about Americans' financial situations?
Congresswoman, who was the president during World War I?
Can you...
No,
are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm asking, who was the president during World War I?
I don't know, but clearly you are not answering my question.
Who the president during World War I was? Well, let me tell you.
So I'm clearly getting the idea that you do not want to answer whether you agree with President Trump that you do not care about Americans' financial situations.
President Trump does care about Americans' financial situation.
Well, he actually said that he doesn't.
No, that is a truncated thing, like everything is, that he is future-proofing, because I can tell you Americans' financial situations would be devastated if Iran got a nuclear weapon and there was a permanent shutdown of the flow of energy out of the Middle East.
Well, then let me ask you, was your prediction...
I promise you that President
I'm taking my time back.
I will promise you that President Woodrow Wilson, who was president during World War I, the Germans did not attack us. That he got into that. It was
you're not answering the question, so let me ask this.
And I guarantee
was your prediction that Americans would face only 50 days of temporary...
And so he starts off with basically saying, hey, do you know who was president during World War I? And of course he didn't. And his bigger move was saying, listen, Woodrow Wilson knew this was going to be in America's interest to be involved in this, and here's why. It's like, this is why we're involved in this now. He's drawing a parallel.
Yeah, sure he is.
But the fact that he had to basically teach her through it made her look like crap.
It looked like an idiot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that hard to do. Yeah, I mean, but maybe just because Bessent's so well educated, he has a wealth of knowledge, and he can draw that parallel and make her back on her heels in just an instant. That's why I think I love him so much. I love that guy.
Here's another one from yesterday, and this was when USAID and that discussion point came up. Bessent was very clear. It's like, you're asking the wrong person. Take a listen.
Also found that a DOJ staffer sent an unencrypted file containing USAID payment information and individuals' names to external DOJ personnel at the General Services Administration. Soon after, it was reported no disciplinary action was taken, despite the employee's failure to protect federal and non-federal employees' sensitive personal data and comply with security requirements. So again, Mr. Secretary, when employees who violate IT security rules are not held accountable, what does that message send to agents? Why don't you hold someone accountable?
Why are you bringing up USAID with me?
Because a DOJ staffer, GAO, found that a DOJ had payment information. Payment information.
USAID, I do not oversee. I wear many hats in this administration. Not one.
And this is a file containing payment information. Are you not in charge also of the Treasury?
That has USAID. That has nothing to do with us.
But payment information has nothing to do with it.
Again, it was not sourced at the Treasury. Why are you bringing this up with me?
So GAO provided 6 recommendations to address identified weaknesses.
He torches her.
Dude, he's like, why are you asking me about something?
Has nothing to do with the Treasury. You're asking me about something I have no oversight over.
It's like asking, the person next to her about a credit card transaction that Scott Bessent has. I mean, what? They've nothing to do with me. I have no idea about what you're talking about. And the crazy thing is, he probably does know because he's smart enough to know, and he's so well researched. But he's not going to give her that. You know what I mean?
It's just fun to hear him, and it's how he quickly turns it into I see where this is going. I see where this is coming from.
Yep.
And this is also what happens when you have. Let's be very honest about it. Most of the time, these people are surrounded by about 23, 24, 25-year-old staffers.
Yep.
And they think, I look at that. This is going to be the one to get him.
This could be the gotcha question.
It's like you are jumping into the lion's cage, and the lion hasn't eaten in a while. He can't wait to tear your head off.
Dude, that's the thing about Besson, because he's such a silent assassin. He's so even-keeled. He's so well put together. He didn't lose his cool, even as both of the people that were addressing him, were trying to get him all worked up with the gotcha question. He stayed even keeled, and he just completely slayed everything that they put in front of him.
It just comes across as rookie league.
It does, but I think he's a special kind of guy though, because he's so smart. Like, I don't know that everybody can pull off what he pulls off. But that's why the Trump administration has done a good job of putting people in place like Scott Bessent, like Marco Rubio, that can handle themselves and just absolutely brutalize the other side.
I know that everyone wants to point at Pete Hegseth, and you're like, oh, you went and got a TV guy. Well,
dude, give me that guy every day.
These TV people that he continues to go and get, they're good.
Yeah, they are. Dr. Oz, he's another. He's another one, dude.
We just had Judge Janine, who ends up slapping people down on stuff and explaining how things work, and you're like, oh, because she's been doing it for a decade on television.
That's exactly right. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. John Bolton is in some deep S next as we wrap up the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, June 5th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the final game of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays last night. 7-2, the final tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates come to town to open up a 3-game series. It'll be Martin Perez on the mound. He'll be opposed by Mitch Keller. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Stanley Cup Finals now tied at 1 as the Carolina Hurricanes got a 4-3 overtime victory last night over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Game 3 from Las Vegas will be on Saturday night. And for the NBA Finals tonight, the New York Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs 1-0. Tip-off from San Antonio tonight is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, I'm a dog. Every day, I dig. Every day, they fill it back in. It's a whole thing. But then my humans called Accent Fence and had a real fence installed. And now, I can't get out. But in the meantime, the family loves it.
Hi, this is Jared with Accent Fence. Secure your yard with wood, vinyl, composite, aluminum, steel, or chain link fence. And right now, we're making it more affordable with no money down financing. Get your free quote today at 770-995-7463 or book online at accentfence.net.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org. Helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Hey, it's Glenn, and I have a really important update about the housing market. If you tried to sell your home in 2025, did it sell? Maybe you were convinced that it was impossible to sell, much less buy a new home. I have some news that might interest you, and I actually get to brag a bit about my own company, realestateagentsitrust.com. Last year, my company had its best year ever. Our network agents sold more homes. We helped more home buyers than any other year in our 11-year history. In fact, we surpassed $4 billion in real estate transactions since our inception. I wish I could take credit, but I'm not the reason for the success. Working with the sharpest and most competent real estate professionals all across the country and matching them with people just like you in this audience, prospective home buyers and sellers, is the key. In short, we're successful because we're good at what we do, no matter what experts have to say about the conditions of the real estate market. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com. Go there now.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story, and I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could sell funds.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big because that's what I've done my whole life.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Jackson for Governor Inc.
Hey, Extra 1063, it's Ben Burnett, host of The Ben Burnett Show. This Tuesday, June 9th, from 7 to 9 p.m. at Chiringa in downtown Alpharetta, myself, Tug and Los from the Morning Xtra will be hosting Politics on the Patio, featuring Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Greg Dolezal, and many others. Check out all the details at extra1063.com and see you at Chiringa in downtown Alpharetta on June 9th.
It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I was real close to saying a country station name right there.
If you almost got away from you.
If you notice that pregnant pause, that's because
I noticed pause.
Yeah, my one-track mind was like, go take the wrong path. Go ahead, take the wrong path. But I caught myself, thankfully caught myself. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. So, Michael Bolton. Good Lord. Now I'm all disheveled and crazy.
Friday, you're thinking about good old days. And
Goodfellas. Yeah, as a matter of fact.
There too.
Yeah, right. Either one.
Marty called in yesterday. He was like, no, I know there's a bar, Goodfellas.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But that's not the one we're talking about. That's not the one we've all been to together. I'm not sure why there's any confusion. But Goodfellas works.
Goodfellas, good old days.
Yeah, no, I know. I get
We'll start with good.
Yeah, right. I've noticed that. Yeah, I did notice that. But, Los, the funny thing is, it's almost funnier to call it by the wrong name now. Like, forever, it may just be Goodfellas.
I feel like it only mocks Bryce, and I'm not looking to do that on a regular basis.
Okay, well, I guess...
It's like you're making fun of Bryce. And listen,
Yeah.
I like that we can all take shots and goof around. I think we do a really good job of making fun of ourselves quite a bit on this show.
That's right. Well,
but I don't want to be mean to Bryce just to be mean. Like, I want to talk about his sense of direction as completely awesome.
Yeah,
just
right.
awesome.
I was just trying to think, where is it? Would it be to the right of coming?
I guess on your controller pad, Bryce, it'd be down from the downtown area.
That's right. Like, I love how Lo says, I don't want to make fun of him for getting the name wrong, and then just blows him up. Talking about he has to read a map like it's a controller from a video game. I love it. That's awesome. That's the best backhanded compliment ever. It's so good.
It's your L2 button away from downtown coming.
and the crazy thing is, I know what the L2 button is, but my hands don't work well enough to actually touch the L2 button and use it. My fine motor skills never developed.
I would love to see Tug play Xbox.
Oh, dude, no, you wouldn't. You'd be done.
No, I would.
You'd be so tired of it in minutes because my fingers just don't work. My fine motor skills never developed. I have a hard time driving a nail or screwing in something like, with a screwdriver because it's like it just doesn't work. It's so awkward and it's unreal.
All right, question then.
Yeah.
This raises a question.
Yep.
Does this mean that we good old days and then go to the pool after?
Oh, that does seem like a strong possibility.
If y'all don't have anything on you, I can certainly bring some extra from the house.
No, yes, let's do it because
okay.
I'm in for it. But I mean, my son's going to coach a 15U team all the way up in Lake Point, up near Cartersville. Yeah. And wife will be working. I'll be just hanging.
I ain't got anything till the game tonight.
Yeah, I literally got to let the dog out for 5 minutes, and
I got to go pick up my daughter at 3:00, and that's it.
Dude,
I'm dropping her off, and then 5-6 hours later.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't want to just be like, well, just go home and take a nap or go work out. I'm like, no, it's Friday. Let's do something different.
I got both my workouts in Wednesday and yesterday, man. I'm all set. This is perfect. This is perfect.
This is coming together.
It is. I like it when it comes together nicely. There's a couple things. There's a couple stories out there. John Bolton, quickly. It was funny to see John Bolton. Not funny. It sucks because he, transmitted classified materials that were subject to hacking by the Iranians on a Gmail account. Now we know he's been indicted. Now he has agreed to plead guilty. It's going to have like a $2.5 million fine, and then it's up to 5 years in prison. I don't know how much jail time he does, but I remember him saying when Donald Trump had the documents that he was allowed to possess at his house in Mar-a-Lago, they raided it anyway, that was the end of his political career. Look, Bolton's political career is over anyway, but wow, what a flame out, Los.
I mean, he just wasn't supposed to be sending this stuff for his own personal use. And that's what he was doing. He was using it for his own book use.
And then the fact that we know that the Iranians were able to hack his Gmail and get at this stuff, and that endangers military officers, that endangers CIA officers that are undercover. All of that stuff is now fair game for the Iranians because we know specifically they were able to get at that information. It's unreal that somebody would do that, but it's so fitting that he used to go on CNN and talk about, well, Trump's political career is over. This is done and over with. Just bury him. It's done. And he's the one that actually is biting the dust.
Yeah, he's the one that's going to have to actually spend some time in a federal prison, and that is no joke.
No,
that is not what. Like, I get it. There are some that are much more severe than some of the place you get to go that are pretty minimum security. But the fact that at your age you're going to have to go somewhere that you didn't plan on, and not for just a little while,
dude, that sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Because he's 79, I think he's somewhere in that ballpark. So I mean, I don't know what his health's like. But that doesn't sound
77 years old.
So there you go. So 5 years, he'd be 83. And I'm not saying that again, I don't know what his health's like, but that's late in the game to be sitting in jail. If it were to get the full 5 years, which I don't expect he will, which is terrible. Because what kind of examples does that set? Yeah, you can let our enemies, our worst, somebody we're actively at war with now, get at some of our top secret messages and you don't even get the full punishment? Come on.
Interesting that the Times has it as John Bolton to plead guilty in Trump revenge case.
Of course. I
thought no one was above the law.
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's also believe all women. And the New York Times is not doing that either. And that's obviously a reference to the Graham Plattner thing. But yeah, it's just that stuff is. I think when it comes to national security, man, you got to take that really, really serious. And I don't think that the U.S. government does that anymore.
There's not a lot of joking around when it comes to that stuff. I mean, we've had people that have been, even who participated in betting markets that we had recently, as far as getting rid of a dictator in South America, and because they participated in the betting market, suddenly that's a violation of national security. And so there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of rules out there.
No, there are, but I think we should punish more harshly on these things to prevent it. I think that's one of the things that you cannot go light on a punishment for. And when it comes to national security, because you put the entire nation at risk. You by your actions have put 320 million people at risk. That's not anything that you can just say, slap on the hand. Dude, 5 years is not enough if you're asking me. For a national security violation like that, when you expose CIA operatives, some of our most clandestine operators at risk, dude, that is. I don't know that you can come back from that, and that's why I think 5 years is not enough. And I don't even care about the money. Make him pay no fee or no fine. I don't care. Give him 25 years. Let's make an example.
It's also a plea deal, and the government oftentimes will give you an exorbitant number in terms of like, hey, you're going away for 20 years unless you admit you did this and take 5.
Yeah.
And that's the way it always comes together. That's how these dudes always end up in federal for 5 years, because they were looking at 20 if it went to trial.
Yeah, but I hate it, man. I really do hate it.
I think national security is something that has to be I'm not saying you can't do a plea deal. I'm not trying to say that, but I think it can't be 5 years when it needs to be 20. That's maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but I think national security is something that you just can't overlook and get over. Bryce, what are your plans for the weekend, man? What are you going to do?
Relax.
I love that. Los, you got volleyball this weekend?
No, we're actually off this weekend. It's like our last clear weekend before we start nationals.
Yeah, and then, man, it's going to be hit and
3
miss.
weeks of travel.
Yeah, 3 week. Los going to be all over the place. You got Indianapolis in there, Minneapolis in there, and somewhere else, right?
Yeah, we basically, once we hit the 19th, that'll be the first date. So we've got, clear this week, clear into next, and then the week of the 15th, the 22nd, the 29th, we're traveling every single one of those weeks.
Ooh, loud.
Yeah.
And there are parents out there that goes, I know exactly what you're talking
They're
about.
doing the same trip that we are.
That's right.
They're doing the exact same ones.
And grandparents that are probably thinking, yep, I gotta meet the family wherever, Minneapolis, Indianapolis, or Orlando.
Orlando, Indianapolis, or Minneapolis, as far as the.
Can you say hi to Gay Tim for us?
Yes, I will take care of that.
Just swing by the governor's office. Hi,
hey,
can I speak to Tim?
Remember when people were driving by and saying things to the governor's mansion and how he was upset about that?
Yeah, he was so pissed. He opened himself up to it, and gosh, what a weirdo.
Yeah, another example. As the Democrats try and find just a regular dude to run in their party.
That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Regular people does not exist.
That's why 85%, 80% of men are like, nah, I'm over here.
Yeah, I'm good. I can't. And the further they take it, by taking mom and dad, mother and father, up in New York, out of their, family law codes, it's just bridge too far.
You have to be a certain kind of man to support this sort of stuff, as far as wanting to identify with this party that hates masculinity.
A Tim Walz type man, which is not manly at all. All right, that does it for us. Becca's up next, then Clay and Buck in the local afternoon show with the Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. For Bryce and Los, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear? Come on.
If you love listening to Extra all week, make sure you're here this weekend for even more great local shows from across the community. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so many more. Listen to them this weekend or anytime on the all-new Extra 106.3 app.